Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Evil Live. Tonight, we got some very special guests in the building to chat with me about one of my favorite series of all time, The Evil Dead. It's going down. I got some very special people. It's the night of the Evil Dead tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. And if you're watching the replay, thank you for watching the replay as well. I got everybody's links in the description, so check them out. Some very dope people. I'm a fan of everyone here. Everyone here has some top tier content, So let's get into the introductions. First up, we got my man MarkOEstes in the building. Welcome, Mark. How
What's
you
up?
doing
What's up?
tonight?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm here, ready to talk some dead eye action.
Yes. Mark, he is an author, horror author, and he is also a podcaster, Midnight Social Distortion. So wherever podcasts are found. So if you have not, been up on his podcast, I highly suggest you check it out. He's got some awesome breakdowns.
Thank you, man.
Yes. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for
Al-
being here tonight.
Always.
Yes. And it's every time we get on camera, it's like a 4 hour affair. So we got other people tonight, Mark. We got other people.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna keep it
Yeah,
hush.
no, we both. I gotta keep it. I gotta reel it in too. Because it's always fun. So, but thank you for joining us tonight. We also got Miss Destiny Kelly in the building tonight, aka Artsy Ghoul in the building tonight. Thank you for joining us.
Of
Thank you.
course, I'm so excited to be here. I love the Evil Dead franchise. Can't wait to talk it up with all of you guys.
Yes. I'm just so excited. If you have not checked out Artsy Ghoul, you can check her out. I've got her links in the description. She's got some amazing art, it's horror centered. So I can't speak enough. I cannot speak enough about, her art. I
Thank
highly
you.
suggest you check it out. Highly suggest that. Now we also got Mr. Michael Anthony Brown. Mr. Mr. Michael Anthony Brown in the building tonight. How you
What's
doing?
up? What's up? I'm good. How you doing?
Yes. Thank
I'm
you
ready
for
to conjure
joining
some
us.
demons. Thank you for
Yes.
having me. Thank you for calling me
Oh,
on. I'm
yes.
ready.
Yes. It's the Scream King himself. One fourth of the Scream Kings. Also one half of People Under the Scares. Shout out to Bobby. In the comments. Thank you for joining us tonight, Bobby. You know. But yeah, we gonna get it going. And we also got a first time on Evil Live, ladies and gentlemen. We got Cat and Jazz, ladies and gentlemen. Girl, that's scary. Yes.
And
Hey
we
y'all.
sing. Hey
Yes.
y'all.
How y'all doing tonight? How y'all doing tonight?
I'm all right.
It's
Cooling and
pretty
all
good.
kinds of
It's lit.
crazy things.
Oh yes. Yes. I'm very excited. When I first started dipping into like the horror community, like you guys podcasts were like just one of my favorites, top tier. I just felt like I was listening to friends talk about, certain movies. And I remember actually listening to your review of the Evil Dead. So I'm excited, to talk about the franchise with y'all,
Listen,
tonight.
I'm
we have a
finna
new one.
cry.
Yeah, we have
So
a new
let's
one
start
coming
there.
out. Yeah, Cat's holding in tears. I can see her looking up at the ceiling so the tears don't come down. Because she be crying at the drop of a dime, y'all. Y'all know how that be.
And yeah,
But
we
we
we,
will.
we yeah, we finna redo that one because it was some powers that be that was trying to hold us back. But
Yeah.
no hateration and the dancery will be formed against us. Amen.
Amen. Exactly. But thank y'all for joining tonight. So we gonna get it started, get everybody back up here. Yes. And shout out to the chat. Got Bobby in the chat. Showing some love for the Evil Dead. Got Jaleesa in the chat. Got Tommy, Black Horror Survivor. Thank you for stopping by, Tommy. Got Terrell in the building. What's up, Terrell? Man, thank you for stopping by. So, my first question, for everybody. Uh, well, actually, let me actually tell you when my love for the Evil Dead started. one of my favorite horror franchises. Like I've always loved horror movies. Like my first horror movie that I probably saw was Child's Play 2. You know, fell in love with it. But it wasn't until I saw The Evil Dead to where that movie truly terrified me to my core, you know, especially watching the counting card scene on a 13-inch television, you know, in my in my room. Just just magical, you know. And then I fell down a rabbit hole, and I've been a fan ever since. You know, all three movies, well, the original three, and then the show, and then you know the remakes. You know, so it's been a love affair. It's been a love affair for me with the Evil Dead. So I was excited. You know, I made sure that I got some Evil Dead fans in the place to be. You know, to discuss this franchise. You know, tonight. So I wanted to start with, you know, what does Evil Dead, you know, mean to everybody here tonight, you know? So Destiny, what does Evil Dead mean to you tonight?
Well, let me just put myself on blast really quick. So I'm young. So my introduction to the Evil Dead franchise was the 2013 reboot, not remake, reboot, because it's not a remake. So I was a freshman in high school when that came out, which was around the time when I actually started taking my passion for horror seriously. And I started, you know, becoming a horror artist and drawing and being inspired by my favorite horror films. So when I saw the trailer for Evil Dead 2013, I discovered that Evil Dead was an entire franchise. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need to do my homework. I need to go back, watch the original. So I did. And obviously I loved it. I loved the first original, The Evil Dead. And I just really associate the 2013 movie in particular with me being a horror artist. So like when I look back at my old drawings from when I first started making horror art, a lot of it is Evil Dead 2013 art. So it really has a really special place in my heart, and it just reminds me of those first days when I started getting into art and horror.
Yes, love it, love it. And you are not alone. I've talked to a lot of people. Their first, you know, movie was their first, you know, Evil Dead movie was the 2013 one. You know, so nothing wrong with that. Nothing. It was an excellent place to start. It was an excellent place to
Yes,
start. You
definitely.
know, how about you, Jazz? What was your first, you know, what does Evil Dead mean to you?
Well, I am someone who got on Evil Dead a little late because I'm, you know, I was a horror fan since a young warthog, right? So like Child's Play 2, you talk about it, those are the movies that I was watching, Poltergeist, all that. But Evil Dead, for some reason, for me, I didn't come on TV a lot. So, you know, you ain't renting, you ain't got the cable, you know, you're not about to catch it like that unless you catch it. And so I didn't catch it a lot. I knew the references though, because if you watch any of the Halloween marathons and all that stuff, they're gonna reference Ash in the chainsaw in the hand. They're gonna
Yes.
reference the cabin. They're gonna make all these references. So I'm like, and even the references and other stuff that cabin in the woods, you're gonna see started a whole trope, like started a whole trope. You're gonna see how iconic it is throughout other horror films. So then when I finally went back and watched the entire thing on its, you know, by itself, like I was like 20s, yeah, sometime in my 20s, I was like, let me rewatch this thing from start to finish, which is it wasn't the movie I thought it was because I blended the first two together because I was like, what a chainsaw? It's not. Oh, that's not in this. All right, messed up. But no, it's really like the icon. Like it's just an iconic film, right? And then so after watching the first one, I'm like, no, you got to see the second one after this, and then being introduced to, oh no, this is silly. This is fun. This is like top tier camp. Like this is
Yes.
like, oh, you can see people hands and shit. You know, they was just, you know, doing anything, just throwing people through walls and shit. That kind of, and I don't advocate for that, right? Because you can't be beating the actor's ass. That's not cool. But I just like you can feel that. Like they really put everything into it. And what they did with the budget, how they scared you with the budget, because it was a low, even Army of Darkness budget, not that big. They didn't get the money until like 2013 in this recent film and stuff. Even Ash vs. Evil Dead, I feel like had a little bit more money. Not even gonna lie
Yeah.
to you. So you see what they can do. Like look how far a good idea can go. That it's just really loving it.
Yes. I love it. I love it. What about you, Kat? What does Evil Dead mean to you?
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same wavelength as Jazz. Like I got into these movies like a little later in life. Like I saw actually The Evil Dead in college with my friend. Like, it was just a rental from the library, and I was out at the Eastern Shore saying nothing but like trouble and grass and farm out there for those who are familiar. So going to the library to get my kicks is a good old time. So, and that was really scary. Like, I ain't never seen no shit like that before. So going from that, seeing the second one, and then Army of Darkness, that's when they started throwing more JKs in there. And I'm more of like, horror comedy is not really my bag. I wasn't completely turned off because I like those, like, you know, kind of slapstick films from time to time. And the skeletons were fun, but the 2013 one really roped me back in because it gave a lot of feels from the first one. I was all for it. I was rooting for Mia. I thought everybody was shaky. I can't wait for us to talk about the new film. I'll hold my thoughts on that. But this is my history so far. Like, I'm out here. I am excited to see where they're going with the lore and in the world in general. So I'm glad that we're still out here expanding and getting the girls excited.
Oh yes, oh yes. It's a lot of love for the new one. So I'm interested to see, you know, what everybody's thoughts are. Cause yeah, I've actually got like my full review is actually on people under the scares. You know, Michael and Bobby's. Yeah. So
I've been waiting for today.
Me too, Jay. Me too, Kate. Me too, Kate.
Oh shit, Mark. Okay, here we go.
All right. So what about you, Michael? How does
So I didn't even know this was a whole franchise when I was younger. I just remember Army of Darkness. So I remember watching that on TV, and then at some point I got laid off, and then I saw, oh, they got movies at the library. Let me go watch it since I'm not doing shit and I'm getting paid on unemployment for a little while. So I was just renting movies. So Evil Dead 1 and 2, Army of Darkness, a bunch of other shit. So that's how I got introduced to it. I like the comedy element, and I even like the dark element of the 2013 movie and some of this new one that came out, Evil Dead Rise.
Yes. Shout out to y'all libraries for carrying like real movies, because I remember the movies I used to rent from the library. Like, them shits was not the Evil Dead at all. So shout out to the libraries. What about you, Mark? What about you?
Since I'm from Tennessee, you know, I kept a lot of people saying, like, well, you know, Evil Dead took place in Tennessee. And so that was my introduction to it, not knowing that my mom had actually rented it when she was when I was a baby, and she was, you know, at home by ourselves watching me and trying to watch that movie. And she walked it back down to the damn convenience store that she rented it from. You know, those mom and pop convenience stores back in the day when they had videos in the back. She took it right back that very same day because she said she couldn't take it. And you knew I had to watch it then. So when she told me when I bought it home, and she was like, "Oh, don't play that movie on my TV." I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to watch it now." So, you know, and I went on ahead and watched it, and I, you know, fell in love with it and everything. But I watched them out of order because I remember seeing part 2 late night on HBO and at the end of it, and always trying to figure out what was going on, and then thinking that when I got The Evil Dead that was going to happen in the end. And so I was like, oh shit, it's another one out there. So, and like everybody else, I kind of return to it every so often, but not on a regular. And then when that 2013 trailer hit, to me, that's a movie in itself. That red band trailer, that's a movie in itself. That should be Evil Dead 3.5, and then you get Evil Dead, because that was it for me. I was like, bring me more. So that's my history with the franchise. But as far as that's one of the franchises that I don't run back to because I want to retain that grueling experience when I watch it. Because watching it last night, it was still all like I was watching all over again. Like, yo, something they can't even breathe. It's just constantly stuff coming at them. They can't take a time to go. Oh, it's just like yeah. So yeah, that's my Evil Dead journey.
Yes, and I love the origin story with your mom. You know, watching it. You know, when you were a child, like that's wild. That's wild.
Yeah, I was unaware at that time. And when she brought home a 91 Elm Street, that's when the fuse was lit. But I was probably Googling Gaga and while she was sitting there just like doing this number right here, trying to hold me, and I was unaware then. So
Awesome. Now, thank y'all for that. Thank y'all for that. Now, my first question, for the night would be, we've seen Evil Dead, in a cabin. It's the that's like the staple, and then with the latest movie, we've seen it in a apartment building, skyrise apartment building, so what locations would you guys like to see, the Evil Dead go to? Or if you were to make an Evil Dead movie, where would you bring it to? What location would you bring that to? And I'm going to start it off. I'm going to say I would love to see the Evil Dead in a underwater, type of situation.
Like Deep Blue
All
Sea
right.
with Evil Dead.
You might be onto
Yeah.
something.
Are
Right?
you tripping?
Yeah.
I'm scared. What?
Like, we got like an underwater citadel type situation, and somebody bringing one of them damn books, or you got Shuri down there, she made another one, she made a fourth one, and then next thing you know, somebody read the damn lyrics, and just it's on and popping, so I would love to see it underwater.
Dead-eye sharks. Oh my god.
Oh, that would be the trailer. That would be just one snippet, just Dead-Eye Shark. Everybody coming. Everybody.
I'm sold. I'm sold. All you said had to say was shark. Y'all know how I feel about shark. The sharks could be walking on land. The sharks could be flying the plane. I don't give a fuck. You put a shark in a movie, and I'm there.
Yes. So what about you, Kat? What would be?
I am floored because it's giving Evil Dead meets Deep Blue Sea, and I'm here for it, but I'm nervous at the same time. So that's why I'm just like, But for me, I would like to see the Deadites get loose or an Evil Dead situation in the workplace. Because it's workplace horror that always gets me going. Like, it's just you sitting here, you're on the clock, you already like, I really love it here. God damn. I'm back in here again. And all of a sudden, it turned up, and you like, I knew I should have left at lunch. Like, you just really like, I knew it. So I'm really trying to see that because it's various situations. I love real life, like situational horror, like something just throws into your face, kind of like what's the girl 2004 remake of Dawn of the Dead, when the girl just wake up, she at work, and next thing you know, as soon as she go to bed, she open her eyes again, and her everything just upside down. Exactly. We need something like that, and because how the Deadites get down, it's gonna spread real quickly.
Yes, and I love that. I'm when you said that, I automatically thought of like a character calling out, and then calling one of the main characters like, yo, you should have fucking called out today. I don't know why you at work. And then at the end of the movie, that motherfucker pull up like, I forgot something, and then,
and now you trapped.
Yeah. I love that. What about you, Jazz? What would be your location?
Wow, y'all have such great ideas. I had 3 that popped up immediately. So first, I don't know what it is, but a church lock-in would be insane. If y'all had a church lock-in, and somebody who mad at the sister Odell and pissed, put the book and be pissed, and it probably was stored in the church to be safe. So maybe they explore somewhere where everybody sleep, open the walls up, and like, ooh, here's this book. Let's start reading. They know Latin because they probably teaching it in the Bible study, whatever. So they reading it out loud, and now y'all getting your ass beat. 2, it's like the cousin of the underwater, but a cruise ship. Y'all out in a cruise in the middle of the ocean. Now you getting fucked. Look at you. And then the last one is I'm an educator. So I feel like the boarding school that's like off to the side, like on a holiday vacation. So a good chunk of the students are gone. So you got the, like 10, you don't want to have 50 million deadites. That's too many deadites. Okay. We need maybe like 4. So you got some people mixed in, and it could easily be some students. It could even be a teacher. It could be anybody who reads it, or somebody who puts a tape on and they let it play and walk away, and it's playing the stuff and they don't even realize it. And they come back and like, oh, what's going on? The light's flickering. Deadites.
I'm digging that. Children just in general, and boarding school, like Evil Dead Hogwarts type situation. Evil Dead meets Hogwarts. I'm there.
The Dead-Eyed Academy.
Yeah. Yes, yes, I'm there. I'm there. What about you, Michael? What would be your location?
Well, firstly, I'm feeling Vacation Bible School Evil Dead idea. I like that. But I'm gonna go with in space, like an Event Horizon kind of situation where there's no escape. I don't really know how that works outside of the planet. I can't. They can figure all that out. But something in space where you're like really isolated. It's just a space crew. Um, I don't got nothing else. I don't know. Just in space.
I'm digging it.
Maybe it's a different book instead of maybe it's a book of demons that we would consider maybe aliens, but it's demons outside of the planet and not necessarily home to this planet or realm.
Yes,
I don't know the words. I haven't been in church in a while.
Oh, we need to write this because I feel like me wanting to go underwater and you wanting to go in space. I feel like it's the same type of vibe. You know, we're gonna get the same. We're gonna get a similar vibe. You know, definitely. What about you, Mark? What would be your location?
First, I want to say we got the Evil Dead writers room right here. We done put out tons of ideas, and Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell, y'all need to be on our, just hit us up. I actually wanted to do something with the university. I see somebody in the comments has said it too, but I have always wanted to do a horror movie because I'm a big Scream 2 fan. I've always wanted to do a horror movie set in a university, and I feel like that would be one. But as a former librarian and having to work dead shifts, when people just come in and there's not that many people, everybody's face is in the computer, and go into the stacks and you find like an old tune and then shit pops off, so a library.
I love that.
Oh, and I'm feeling it because I'm automatically thinking right now. I'm like, some shit pop off. You got somebody possessed in there, and then you got them saying he's coming or she's coming. Little do you know, it's a motherfucker that's buried underneath the library basement somewhere, ready to be unleashed. Ready to be unleashed.
Wow.
Not even in the reference section, underneath the fucking library. Yes.
Also, libraries be having multiple floors too. So.
Exactly. And then the dark under floors, the basement floors is just like, hell, you gotta get to the damn. It takes 2 floors to get up to the damn main floor. So it's like, yeah, chaos. I just want to see chaos in the library.
Great choice. What about you, Destiny?
Well, I just want to shout out to Jazz because I was also thinking about the cruise ship location. But what I would do, I'll bring in my love for amusement park settings in horror, and I would set it at an amusement park, but not just an amusement park, like a Halloween hunt at an amusement park. So think like Halloween Horror Nights, like Not Scary Farm, like Six Flags Fright Fest, that kind of deal. The movie Hellfest. So just like maybe there's like a maze where they're reading like the incantation from the Book of the Dead, and the Deadites come to life, and you don't know what's real or not because there's hunt performers there too. So you have Deadites popping out. Imagine you're riding a roller coaster and the person next to you turns into the Deadite. You don't have anywhere to go. It's chaos across the entire.
You done scared me already. Like
there's so much potential there. There's so much potential there.
Listen. I'm scared of amusement parks already because I just, it's just a certain thing. Like I can't ride a roller coaster without singing a song. I was the last time I was on a roller coaster, I'm the guy who rides it and I'm automatically rapping to calm my nerves. So I was singing Outkast Rosa Parks while the roller coaster was going up and down, and I just need to get my nerves in check when it comes to amusement parks and roller coasters. We got some people in the comments. Bobby says vacation or stuck on an island. Yes, maybe some type of resort. We got Daniel Garcia, thanks for stopping by. Evil Dead in the sewers. Interesting. We got Germs. What up, Germs? Thank you for stopping by. Evil Dead in an archaeology temple site. That would be
they just asking for it.
Or a prison. Yeah. Jaleesa says, I love the amusement park idea. It reminds me of Left 4 Dead. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah. I think I would have I mean, you would definitely have fun shooting deadites in an amusement park. You know, it'd be scary,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Also reminds me
you know,
of the ending of what's that movie, Zombieland? When they're like
Yes.
at the
Yeah.
amusement park at the end, just shooting zombies up, but it's deadites.
yes. Now, my next question for y'all would be, which limb would you cut off first of a friend, who you who you sus- who you suspected of being possessed?
Not
You know?
suspected.
This isn't confirmed because in some movies they've cut off limbs and it's like, okay, that was it, that was done. But in other movies we still saw the motherfuckers be possessed after that, after the limb was cut off. So suspected, that's why I'm saying suspected.
Yeah, I think the leg is probably the best bet just because they're going to have a harder time catching you. Anything else, they can still snatch you up.
Okay. I could just see like terrifying, like a deadite hopping towards you, like fast hopping towards you.
Cause they would pull this shit off.
Not them hopping towards you like, I'm gonna get you, sucker. That girl pull their leg off.
I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you.
Not I'm gonna get you, sucker. Now, what about you, Destiny? What would be the limb that you would pull off?
Well, at first I was thinking the hand, but according to the history of the franchise, that doesn't really help much. I was watching Ash versus Evil Dead, and he had his severed hand that grew another deadite Ash. So that doesn't sound like a safe bet. So maybe, I don't know, the foot. For some reason, the leg, they can't chase you as well. You'll be stumbling.
See, y'all think it's strategic. I like that. What about you, Mark?
I'm petty. I might just sit there, just chop your damn whole like lower extremities off or some shit like that, and just be like, look, if you live, you live. You don't. I'm just saying because it's like you don't know what's gonna happen. Like, just leave it at there. Like, look, it bit you. You get thrown up on. Something's coursing through your veins right now, and I'm just gonna go ahead and take care of the problem because we already got shit that we gotta worry about, and just keep it moving. I'm Celine in Evil Dead. Selena from 28 Days Later. I'm Selena, like, oh, sorry.
I respect it. You ain't got time to be, playing games. You ain't got time to be
questions,
playing games.
nothing. You just gonna chop them up real quick.
Especially if I didn't, was already arguing with them, so like, yo, I'm already in my feelings.
I respect it. What about you, Jazz? What would be your limb?
I'm really feeling the foot, because if we're thinking Ash Evil Dead, that finger is like guiding, it's pointing. I feel like the feet can't. It ain't got a thumb, ain't got opposable thumbs. They can't do as much because the finger be moving around. Like if we think of Addams Family, the hands are adept. They can do a lot on their own. So I'm like, the foot not so much. And to be honest, I might cut off that pinky toe or something for balance because you playing a little too much. I think we gotta cut the foot and remove the pinky toe and keep them separate. So that, because it might grow another whole nother deadite, we don't know. But honestly, truly, I might have to kill my friend straight up. Like, I just talk to God later, because you're not about to come and beat my ass. I don't have time for this. You shouldn't have read the damn Latin, because I know it wasn't me.
Exactly. We didn't ask for this shit.
So is it the moment they start saying shit they shouldn't know? Like if their back is turning, they reading shit. Is that the moment we cutting them? Or
kill them immediately? Dead on sight. Because what the fuck, you name it? You're not a magician. How you gonna say Queen of Spades, Seven of Hearts? You can't see my cards. You was looking out the window. Ain't no reflection. You're going down.
What about you, Kat?
Well, you already fucking know. Jazz, we're here. Because I was about to say, I don't know about y'all, but my friends already know what's up. So I'm actually like gonna just be cooling next to you, and then I'm gonna pull my lighter out, and I've actually set you on fire. because we're not doing this. We're getting right to Plan Z. I'm not playing these games with you. I'm not about to cut this limb off and waste my time and yours. Girl, who's doing all this? For you to sit up here and still turn into a deadite, I'm gonna just get right. We're gonna dash a little gasoline on you. Be like, oops, my bad. Like bump, like I spilled something. It's gas, bitch. And I set you on fire because I saw you reading that book. What the hell are you doing? We had a talk in the car. You ignored the group chat and the talk. Nah, it's over.
Dame más gasolina, right?
Period.
I think that's a top tier answer. That's a top tier answer. Me, I was thinking like, what if a motherfucker get scratched on the nose, on the ear, what if a deadite grabs you, I gotta go ahead and slice that nose off, and I don't know like how to stop the bleeding, so I feel like should I just kill you, or should I just let you go with no nose?
Yes.
Like,
yeah, bro.
Kill
if you
me.
gotta cut my nose off. Yeah, kill me. If you gotta cut my nose off, bro. If it's that deep, because I'm probably still gonna turn. Like the real thing is it's my face. We don't know how think about mold on bread. We don't know how far the deadite mold has gotten to your body. You done cut my nose off and the shit is already under my cheek and by my ear and shit. Just take me to the king. Thank you.
I respect it. Now, my next question would be, if you were Ashley, and we saw in the first one, he had left, and but the second one, he came back. So it's like, would you return back to the cabin? At any point, would you return back to the cabin? That's a
no.
No.
I don't think I would under any circumstances.
Low-key, I wouldn't even made it because I'm not going across a bridge either. A wooden bridge to even get this. So I don't even think I would have got
that was
there in
already
the first
falling
place.
apart.
Yes.
Bruh, I would have seen that bridge and said, y'all finna do this? Baby, let me get my bags out the trunk. I'm gonna walk back, baby. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm okay with walking back. And by the time y'all would have started reading that book, I would have already been by the nearest little rinky-dink bar. And I would have just got in the car with a trucker and took my chances there.
As soon as the car turns off the main road onto the dirt road, where are we going? Like, first of all, it's not on the map. Like Google Maps, the cars start going other ways. Pull over.
Ain't no street view. Oh no, there ain't no street view. You see nothing but trees. Okay, guys, I'm gonna I'm gonna go to the Red Roof Inn in the next town over. See you guys later. We can meet at brunch.
Yes. And from being from Tennessee, those bridges are not no joke. So when they sat there in the first movie and that tire went in the bridge, back this shit up. We going back to town because a storm might hit tonight and this bridge will be gone tomorrow morning, and I don't want to be stuck here with y'all.
I always thought like, why would they cross that bridge? Because I've gone across like bridges or even like the Playhouse at McDonald's. Like that shit is shaky for me. That shit is shaky for me. I remember as a kid, I was like, why do y'all have me doing this? Sesame Place, I can't handle this. It's too much right now. But my next question would be, if you could control the effect or the effects or the outcome, of reading one of the books of the dead, if it was in your hands, the power was in your hands, where would you read the book? Where would you read the book out loud? Where would you choose to read the book out loud? So I'm gonna start with you, Kat. Where would you read the book out loud?
I don't know. See, I'm a little stressed because you be thinking you keeping it cute and you going up to somebody's house you don't bang with, or some place you don't fuck with, or maybe you really don't like your job, so you really about to turn up before you leave, if that's really your bag. But then also, like, what if you accidentally get boxed in the parking lot? Like, what if you can't get away? Like, what if this is not something you can't do remotely from your home or a vacation home or something? Remotely. Just like put a bind and a spell on them or something. Because if there's no quick exit, I don't know. I'm a little scared. Plan Z, I'm pussy. Like, I really if I can't get the other option, that's where I'm at. I'm scared they gonna loop me into it. Now I'm a deadite. Now.
Could you do like a walkie-talkie situation, like leave one
Breaker,
end?
breaker. Next tail chirp.
Y'all
We
are
gotta bring it
wildin'.
back. I'm serious.
And you just speak in Latin. It's like, where's the noise coming from? You done left
Oh,
the chirp in the break
disconnect.
room and you done dipped.
Listen, y'all reading my whole entire plan. Like, what are y'all? Stop. Let me stop.
What about you, Jazz? What would be it? Where would you unleash? You know, where would you read the book?
I know my FBI agent is listening, right? And my personal FBI agent is like, don't you do it. But I'm like, girl, I'm about to walk into one of these buildings with a lawmaker's guy. I'm like, listen, bruh, it's almost like Death Note. I got this book. And honestly, I can control. So I'm gonna look y'all in the eye. I need y'all to cancel these laws. I need you to cancel this. I need you to put a rent cap. I'm not even asking for nothing crazy. And I need you to tax these billionaires. Like, that's all I need you to do, honestly, and clean up the ocean. You playing like the polar bears is brown and shit. Y'all chilling. Y'all fucking Earth up. We gotta live here. Now, if you can meet these demands, like, that's all. I'm not even asking for your right arm. I'm not asking for your firstborn son. I'm just saying, like, look, y'all got the money. You don't have to fly private to get to Congress. You don't got it. You can get in an Uber XL. That's okay. You don't need to. But if y'all don't meet these demands, all I'm gonna do is read the book, and then I'm gonna ejectocito. Since Tyrone said we can control what happened, I can control what happened. I'm a ejectocito. I'm gonna walk away, and while all the deadites is getting crunk on y'all, your assistants, everybody up in here. Okay, you played. Now it's about to be a new world order because y'all don't want to lower the rent. Lower the rent. I'm tired.
I like that. That's the NWO, the New World Order. That's how we bring it in. That's how we bring it in. Jaleesa says, yes, Death Note. L is that dude, and Jazz for president. You know. Now, what about you, Mark? What would be your what would you do?
Y'all already touched on some points because when I was at I work from home now, but when I was in the office, you come in, you not in for it, you not in the mood for anybody's shenanigans, and they already know I'm a horror nerd, so I could come in, and since you gave me the idea to put the walkie-talkie there, I just have a walkie-talkie at my desk, and then just sit there and be like, at home, and just sit at home, just chilling, like cutting out. And 2 weeks notice first and foremost, but then sit there and be like, let them have it. Let them have it. Y'all just won't get y'all's packages on time though, but hey, that would be my point of fucking folks up is at my job.
Yo, it's something very villainous about a motherfucker just sitting at home in a robe sipping tea while they reading
And
this shit, and it's unleashing over, and
yeah, and I would be even pettier and then take the pages to send the shit back and then just sit there and say, okay, I'm giving 5 hours. 5 hours pass. Okay, then read the pages to send the shit back in time so that whole goddamn building can go back and be like, my mom called me, Mark, did you go to work today? No, I called in. I just had a feeling to not going to work today, all while I'm sitting there sealing this damn book up and sending it to somebody else. I'm just saying.
Wow.
I'm just angry at my job. Sorry.
Thank you for that honesty, Mark.
I'm just saying.
What about you, Destiny?
Oh man, I mean, I might just have to be vigilante with it and make it personal. Hunt down some people who done some wrong things. Like if I find out you're a racist. If I find out you hurt somebody, hey, might show up outside your door with the book. Or to save myself, might have to pull a jigsaw, record it on the tape, deliver the tape, says play me on it. Trick them into watching it. But yeah, I might do like a vigilante kind of deal, make it personal.
I like that. I just pictured it. I just pictured you standing outside someone's house, leaving the VHS tape, on the step, and then walking away. The wind's blowing leaves. It's autumn. I pictured the whole thing. The whole thing.
You got it.
Yes. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, I'm gonna just be petty. I have a pet peeve about people walking slow in malls. crowded place, like intentionally walking slow, and then y'all take up the whole space. Y'all don't want to walk next to each other. So, if you don't want to move, I'm flip through these pages and start reading this shit, and I bet your ass will start running in. I bet you real quick y'all start running. I could see me. I shouldn't have that. I really should not have that book. I'm gonna be honest.
A pocket Necronomicon. You can just sit there, carry your pocket, and just pull the shit out whenever you feel like it.
It's not just slow. I could understand if you just are a slow walker, but these people just be talking, and moving, and then you blocking my way. I can't get around you. So now you get what you get.
Exactly. I feel that.
No, I understand. You get what you get.
Traffic too.
Traffic. Okay.
Deadites on the interstate. Oh boy.
Not deadites on the interstate. Not them hopping from car to car. It's like fucking Evil Dead and Final Destination 2. Please send me. Please no, send me home, please. I can't.
It's giving Frogger, to be quite honest. And
Yes. Yes.
Deadite Frogger. Wow, that'd be fucked up. That'd be fucked up. I just have a thing about frogs in general, so that'd be super fucked up. But yes, thank y'all. I was gonna say, because I work for the post office, so I was gonna say, just I would unleash it at the post office. I mean, y'all might have a delay in y'all mail, but it is what it is.
Right. I ain't get that bill, so don't call me. I do that.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Listen, you're doing us a service.
Some things gotta be done. Some things gotta be done. And some people gotta be taken care of. So yeah, that would have to be done. My next question would be, who is because some of these deadites, they had some dark comedy to them, some humor to them. So who would be the funniest deadite, to you? Who would be the funniest deadite? Like if I'm gonna start with you, Mark. Who would be your funniest deadite?
You mean in the movies or just in real life?
Oh well, just the movies.
Oh, okay. Because I could sit there, I'm gonna come for somebody's head. But in the movies, I would probably like to be around Mia, because she was just demented as fuck. Either her or Linda, one of them two. Because Linda, that giggling, that would be the two for me.
Yes. What about you, Kat? Who'd be your funniest deadite?
I like Mia. Because when Mia was under that ground and she was like, "Don't you want to do it? Don't you want to do it?" I was like, "Bitch, I don't know what's happening, please." Like, I'm scared, but I'm also like, "Please don't help." See, like I was a fan, so it's gonna be Mia for me. Mia was very versatile. She had wearing very many hats in that movie, so I'm a fan.
Yes. What about you, Destiny? Who would be your funniest deadite?
My first thought was Henrietta, which is the wife of the professor who read the book in the original, because she was like doing the most. Like that is just chaos right there. Like sense of humor, personality, like she just stands out to me as like one of the most iconic.
Yes.
Just like the mother deadite. Also, like if I saw my mother as a deadite, that would be terrifying. So
oh, don't put that image in my head. Like I just thought of my mom as a deadite, and I'm like, we jumping levels.
Starts like singing a lullaby, to get you to think they're okay.
Yeah. It's all right, Destiny. It's all right.
Like nope.
What about you, Jazz? Who'd be your funniest deadite?
Okay, so I definitely see something in the chat about Ash. Like, if there's Deadeye Ash him too, but the evil Ash from Army of the Dead, where he pop up like, "Yeah, we about to lead this army." He is crunk. He telling jokes. He trying to get to the bitches. He like, "All right, we about to." He got armor on. He like, "All right, y'all about to do this. Y'all about to do this." He got a little drum line. I feel like he got a little flair along his little flavor. I like him. He funny.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Deadeye Ash and Evil Ash in Army of the Darkness was definitely a riot. You know, he turned it all the way up. You know, even more than 2. You know, in a lot of aspects. You know, what about you, Michael? Who be your funniest Deadeye?
So at first, I thought you meant celebrities. I was going to say like Cat Williams or something, but is it with the movie? I'm gonna give it to Mia just because she says wild shit, and it's like it's already you trying to kill me, but now you talking shit to me on top of everything else and giggling about it, and then running off. Yeah, it's Mia. It's definitely gonna be Mia. I like Cheryl too, but Cheryl's comedy for me is very subtle. So like, I find things funny that probably shouldn't be funny. So like, Ash is fighting bitches. And then she just sitting there staring at him walking by. And that's saying that shit like that makes me laugh.
Oh yeah. Well, that's a great choice. Like I would pick Mia as well. Just like her shit talking, just the way that Mia was shit talking. It was just top tier for me. You know, top tier. I love that. Um, Daniel, he says, funny dead died Evil Ash. You know, Bobby says Mia always talking shit, but he would go with Ellie. She was unhinged and getting them kids out of here. Yeah,
Listen.
Ellie. Yeah. Ellie was hardcore. Ellie was hardcore. You know, but Michael, you know, you brought up something which goes into my next question. You know, what celebrity do you think would make a good Deadite? You know, which celebrity? So I'm gonna start with you, Michael.
Well, I do think Cat Williams, maybe Chris Tucker. Who else? I'm already thinking of comedians and shit instead of just other type of celebrity. Who's somebody that people? You know what, Beyonce? Give me somebody that's so high up there that everybody's used to seeing look good. I want to see her wild the fuck out. If talking shit, she's at a concert, she just turns into a deadite, starts fucking
That
people
would
up.
be badass.
Beyonce.
Beyonce, okay. Mother Deadite, you know, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it, you know. We probably I'll be at the concert with it, you know. I'll be at the concert with it still. You know, shaking it up. Bobby said Jocelyn Hernandez.
I thought that too. That was one of mine. Somebody said Jim Carrey. Bruh.
Yeah, Jim Carrey is a Deadite.
Oh my god!
Interesting picks. What about you, Jazz? Who would be the celebrity?
Tiffany Pollard, New York. I need New York to come in here. She first of all, she gonna have her Deadeye outfit on, and then she gonna have her bag close to her, but she gonna be like, I'm gonna swallow your soul, but first we gonna clean you up because you're dirty. And she like, not you, you're too broke. You okay? We're gonna swallow your soul, bitch. You think you Beyonce? No, you're not, bitch. Just for you saying that, I'm about to stab you with this fucking hot comb, bitch.
The reeds.
That's actually an awesome choice. I like that, Tiffany. What about you, Kat? Who'd be your celebrity Deadite choice?
Let's talk about how that Jocelyn Hernandez choice just got us all together. Bobby, okay. So it's Sukiana and everyone at the Rock Nation brunch. Not saying that Suki wouldn't be at the Rock Nation brunch, but I really feel like just in case she's not there, they're all taken care of at the same time. So, you know, it just takes here different communities. You know, I think everybody go cut up because you never know who at the Rock Nation brunch.
Yeah, you know,
we're gonna find out on Instagram when they all become deadites. Also, Sukiana talks shit. Also, Sukiana is real like motivated that time. So I don't really know. It's gonna be a nice chaotic good time.
No, I can feel that. You know, what about you, Destiny?
Man, that's a hard one, but I don't know why my brain like immediately went to like the Wayans brothers because they did the scary movie franchise. And I'm like, it would be hilarious to see them do like an Evil Dead horror parody. So I was just imagining like the Wayans brothers doing that.
Marlon as a Deadite would just be a lot. There'd be a lot going on.
Yeah. Yes. Extra.
It'd be a whole lot going on. And who would you pick, Mark?
I got three, y'all. I got reasons. Sarah Michelle Gellar for one, because I feel like what Mike said earlier, her being beautiful and iconic. I feel like her turning and getting deep into that role, she will kill it. And Nene Leakes, just for the reads alone.
Yes.
Just for the reads alone. You know what I'm saying? Just for the reads alone. She would just sit there and be just reading you, and you'd be like, I just want to hit this bitch so damn bad. Like, cause she get into me. She's really swallowed my soul. And then the third one would be Cardi B, because can y'all just imagine the chaos of her just being like all over the place, whopping all over the goddamn stealing and shit. It just be just like crazy.
Yeah, Cardi B as a deadite would be fucking wild as shit. Like that's a crazy choice. Crazy choice. But you had all your ones were good, you know. I was gonna go with Gabrielle Dennis. You know, I feel like she would make a really good deadite. You know, she's got a lot of range, and I feel like she could pull off the charisma of a deadite. You know, I feel like she could do that well. You know.
Oh, I just thought maybe Tim Curry in like a different situation.
Ooh.
But like the way he would be able to like,
damn,
he could do
Tim
that whole
Curry
movie himself.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
You on to something. You
Good
on to
choice.
something.
Good choice.
Yeah, he could actually be multiple. He could play multiple deadites in the same damn
Mhm.
movie. He could be all of them. He could be all of them. I love that. I love that. You know, now as far as our survival folks, you know, who would be your favorite survivor, you know, out of the three, Ash, Mia, or Beth, you know, and I feel like, and I know this may go against like how I grew up or whatever, but I'm going with Mia. I'm going with Mia. You know, Mia is my favorite you know, the one that made it at the end, you know, the survivor. She's my favorite survivor, you know. So what about you, Mark?
I would have to co-sign it and go with Mia, because again, like you said, it kind of goes against the whole idea, because a lot of people get this idea that Ash is Evil Dead, but I feel like the 2013 movie showed that there's so much more that can be done, and plus Mr. Bruce Campbell is not, he's no spring chicken right now, so he, did his part, and I feel like Mia was the only one who actually became possessed and walked away from the shit for good. We haven't seen what's going on with her since then. She might have lost a hand, but she was like, "Hey, I'm still here." She's giving the seal at the end at the color purple. I'm still here. I'm still alive. You know what I'm saying? So, me is for me.
Yes, yes, I love that. I love that. What about you, Destiny?
I'm gonna have to go with Mia as well. I mean, she was the unexpected final girl. You know, everybody assumed that David was gonna be the new Ash, right? But we have that plot twist at the end where he sacrifices himself, and it's this last final battle with Mia versus the Deadites, and she survives, and she goes out like a badass. That chainsaw shot is like one of my favorite horror movie shots of all time. It's like the blood rain, and then it's just amazing. She's iconic, and that red dress, I just love her, everything about her. So Mia for sure.
Yes, yes, love it. What about you, Kat? Who would be your pick?
I'm with y'all. Plus 25 on Mia. Like, it was just a breath of fresh air. Like, you would expect someone else to be the one that ends up in the end. Like, I honestly expected Mia to succumb to her injuries and to not come back. And it was great to see her come back. Still, like, I felt like Mark had mentioned, for other people, like, she could not breathe. They were not letting up on anyone in that movie. And for her to go through all the things she went through, they was doubting her. They did not believe her. They gaslit her, thinking that she was going through the same shit she was going through before, like she was just going to quit and this was just another declaration gone nowhere, when really she was experiencing the things that she was experiencing. Like, she went through people just like, oh girl, this is what we're doing. Like, oh, that's just the disease. Like, that's just whatever. And she overcame that. So I really enjoyed that. I'm not saying that everybody else didn't go through stuff, but a close second for me would be Ash from The Evil Dead. Because Evil Dead 2, like, he, it's did the spin Rooney and ended up right in the next situation. And I'm not even gonna hold you. That's where it kind of lost me. But I'm serious. That's where it did, and it was, you kept throwing all those JKs in, and the one thing I like about the story with Mia is because it was really close to that OG story. Like it gave that same
Yes.
grit, it gave that same feel. So there we go.
Yes. No, I respect it. I respect it. A lot of love for Mia tonight. A lot of Mia love tonight. What about you, Jazz?
I'm just glad to piggyback on my friends because the new girl, Beth, we're gonna talk about her. She's not bad. It's just that we'll talk about her.
Yeah.
Mia, I feel like really pushed forth and like did a lot because she was going through withdrawal, like all of that at the same time. Like everything happened to her at once. My problem with Ash is, especially because now that I'd have got to like season 2 of Ash versus Evil Dead and everything. Ash is a little racist. And this is not just coming from Evil Dead, but also it comes from, Ash versus Evil Dead and Bubba Hotep, because I feel like that's the same person. Okay. He be saying stuff that like, and I'm like, I'm thinking of the horror fans who is laughing at these jokes versus the jokes, the people who are the butt of these jokes. And I'm someone I'm the butt of some of these jokes. So I'm like, bruh, I don't really, some of the stuff he be saying, like y'all think he cool, but he a little racist. So are y'all a little racist too? Like, cause you was like, ha ha ha, that
Uh-huh.
JK was really stinky, bro. Like I understand the 80s or whatever, like that was normal. And he didn't make as many of those jokes like in the first one. Or like the second one wasn't so bad. But once you get to like Army of Darkness and Ash versus Evil Dead, I'm like, hey, you got one more Latino joke to make, motherfucker, before I call the Deadites on you. I'm tired. I'm tired of your stuff. So I'm siding with Mia. Sorry, not sorry.
No, I definitely respect that, especially like looking at it as a kid and then looking at it now, you're like, some of this the 80s was a time, it was a wild time,
Yeah.
in the late 90s, what the early 90s, definitely was a time. What about you, Michael? Oh, you got your mic.
Child. These people in my driveway, I don't know who the fuck that is. I'm going with Mia because of that climax at the end. I feel like that really solidified her as the final girl. Ash, I get it's the comedy. Like I like it, I get it, but it kind of drops him down a few points for me. I want to see him, and also his it's almost slapsticky, his fighting with some of these demons. It's not like a head up, straight up like this is a horror type of fight like Mia had. I would even say Beth is all right. She just had them little bastard children holding her back. She couldn't really throw hands as much as she probably could have because she was trying to protect people. So, but yeah, we're gonna talk about her later.
Yes. I feel like Mia was definitely at the top because it just everything she went through, especially like getting her hand, ripped off and stuff like that. It was just I feel like she went through more shit than Ash, honestly, just to be honest. And like yeah, we'll get to Beth. We'll definitely get to Beth. Now my last question for you guys. What would be your Evil Dead, ranking before we, get into talking about the movies? What would be your Evil Dead ranking, including the television show? You know. So I'm gonna go with mine. I'm gonna go with Evil Dead. Well, the Evil Dead, would be number one, and then 2013, and then maybe the show, which is controversial, I know. Then I'm gonna go with two. Then I'm gonna go with Army of Darkness, and um, I guess yeah. So so that's gonna be my ranking. What, what, what about what about you, Mark?
Wow. I gotta respect that though. I'm gonna respect your ranking. Because I'll talk about this with Bobby and Tamon and Mike about how ranking stuff so soon because sometimes my taste fluctuates. But for the sake of this conversation, at this moment, it would be The Evil Dead 2013, Evil Dead Rise, Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, and then the TV show. And I only say the TV show last because I didn't finish it. I got to season 2 and I didn't finish it because I was pissed off about a certain incident that happened in the last 2 episodes of season 1.
Yes.
And it kind of took me out. And we'll discuss it. We talk about the TV show, and but yeah, I didn't finish it. I'm going to finish it, but I didn't finish it. So yeah.
Yes, I respect the ranking, and we'll definitely get into them last 2 episodes, Mark. What about you, Kat?
Well, I'm gonna say The Evil Dead 2013, Evil Dead 2, in line with Army of Darkness, like kind of just side by side. See, y'all be getting me with these listicles. And Evil Dead Rise. The show is just kind of floating off to the side because I fell asleep on the first episode, and not because I was bored, but because I was tired, y'all, and I couldn't come back to it. I started to cook the show. That's just how my brain be set up. So yeah.
Oh, what about you, Destiny?
So I actually wrote this down because I was ready for this one. So I put Evil Dead 2013 as my top favorite just because that movie has a special place in my heart.
Yes.
And then I have the original The Evil Dead. And then I have Evil Dead Rise. And then I have Evil Dead 2 and Ash versus Evil Dead kind of side by side. And then I have Army of Darkness last.
Yes, that's a good ranking. That's a good ranking. What about you, Jazz? What would be your ranking?
Well, I'm here. Evil Dead is definitely going number one. That movie scares me still to this day. Like if I watch it at 1 o'clock, the movies you put on at like 12, 1 o'clock a.m., turn all the lights off. That jank still gonna mess me up. Like that card scene, the pencil scene, just it's
Yes.
Evil Dead. I will say Evil Dead 2013. Then I'm gonna say Evil Dead 2 because I still really enjoy it, although it has some JKs. Then I'm gonna say the new one because it still has less JKs than Army of Darkness, right? I enjoy that. Then I'm going to say Army of Darkness in the show last because I'm looking at Mark like, no, the choice, like y'all really thought Tony Childs was going. You know what? There was
Facts.
just they made a lot of choices with Tony Childs, and I do not agree. And that's because they don't know who Tony Childs is. And I know she's playing somebody else, but it's just y'all are playing in my face. I still like the show. I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel like the show is entertaining. I made this season 2. It's entertaining, but that's it's last. But yeah.
Oh yeah, I respect it. I respect it. What about you, Michael?
Okay. According to the letterbox I did, because I couldn't remember. So Evil Dead, the first one, just because something about what they did with the budget they had somehow made it creepier than the other movies to me. Evil Dead 2 is my second. Then 2013. Then Evil Dead Rise. Then Army of Darkness. I ain't finished the show, but that is last because I do know what happens to Tony Childs because I watch clips and shit. But yeah.
Child.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I feel like everybody feels a way about what happened to our Tony Childs in that series. So yeah, we could let's get into to talking about the films. The first one, The Evil Dead came out, and it was I guess it was like they actually had a little bit of money, even though they were working on like a shoestring budget, but it was like they had a little bit of money after they had made the first initial one, which was just like was super super duper indie, like shot like you really couldn't, the quality was just like someone shot it in their backyard or whatever, but it was the bare bones of what they would come to make into like this magnum opus, masterpiece, and which would spawn and it would inspire generations. And like Jazz had mentioned earlier, the tropes and everything about the cabin in the woods and everything like that, like it was just so magical. And the prosthetics, that's what I'm gonna bring up. Like that's probably like my favorite thing about that original film was the prosthetics, and just how everything looked, and just the creepy feel. Like you're in the woods, you're with your friends, someone someone's reading a book and something like that, just the shot. And I think that may have been the first time that anyone's done a shot like that, where something's floating through the woods like that. And also the controversial scene with the tree branches or the sticks or whatever you want to call it, and which I'm glad that that is one thing, that is a positive thing that I will say about Evil Dead Rise. They did switch that around, so it wasn't as like in this newer film, but yeah, I loved Evil Dead, the first one. Definitely one of my favorite horror films of all time, like definitely top 5 for me, so yeah, that's how I feel about how'd you feel about it, Mark?
Like Jazz said earlier, watching it again in the middle of the night, because I watched it again before I did this episode with y'all, and it's still effective.
Yes.
And it goes to show you that you can do magic with not much of a budget if you know what you're doing, if you have a vision, if you have people that believe in you, and that you're not trying to just do a quick cash in, a quick buck, you know what I'm saying? It's like some of these people are doing nowadays. For this to be 2023 and this shit came out in 1981, it's still effective. Like the trees, the demon running through the trees and stuff, and coming after Cheryl, and it was just terrifying. And I'm glad that it still holds that power over horror fans to this day, because most films don't age well. But this one does. And I feel like, even though I know I'm personally like the new one, but I know a lot of people who just have the original, and that's like a holy grail to them, and they're very beholden to it, and I understand why. Sam Raimi was ahead of his game at the time, and a lot of people tend to forget that shit came out of 81. That was pre Freddy and Hellraiser and all that, and Jason was not even there. Yeah, I think they came out the same year, so he was already like scaring people. He scared the master of horror, Stephen King. When you can do some shit like that, you can do no wrong, so I love.
Yes. Now what about you, Jazz? What were your thoughts on the Evil Dead?
Yes, those are my thoughts. My thoughts are yes. My thoughts are it really barely does any wrong outside of that tree scene, because that tree scene girl. But most of the otherwise, yes, it's just charming. Like, I don't care that it's silly. I don't care that I can see some of the bullshit. Like, I don't care that I can see the strings in that, because I know the budget. 81. I think Friday the 13th was like 1980 flat. So it was here, but it wasn't doing the sequel. It hadn't been as iconic. It hadn't made the way through the 80s like it did, like all the way towards the end. So Mark is right, where it's like, no,
Right.
you was standing toe to toe with motherfucking Jason Voorhees. So I'm like, you know what? All right, I support this. It's just scary. It's scary. It's still scary. And me, as someone in my 30s who has seen all kinds of stuff, I'm a French extreme girl. Okay. I watch all kinds of wild stuff. This still, I don't know what it is. It's the giggling, it's the eyes, it's the forest, it's the drawing, it's the stabbing of the ink. It's just, it's good. It's good. It's good. It's minimum 4.4 to 4.5 out of 5 stars. Like, I just really enjoy Evil Dead 1, 1981. It hits, although they make some poor choices. Like, that's the thing. But I think they were doing that before it was really a trope. So I'm not gonna hold that against it.
Oh yes. And what about you, Michael? How did you feel about Evil Dead? The Evil Dead.
I'm an atmosphere person, and so there's something about the way it's shot, something about the way it sounds, the way it looks, the dialogue. It does not sound obviously like shit people would be saying now, but I feel like I'm watching not a documentary. It's just some old shit that actually draws me in versus something newer. And I like the look of the Deadites. I like that they don't look polished and put together and look like they got like beautified makeup on. It's more like grotesque shit. It almost doesn't make sense what they look like. I like how they fall apart. I like the fucking milk or whatever the fuck that is coming out of their mouth, which is crazy to me. It's so out there that I enjoy it.
Oh yeah. The oatmeal.
That's what it was.
Was
They had that. They had grits coming out of arms, and I don't know what else.
was very wild. It was a wild time. You know. What about you, Kat? What would be your thoughts on The Evil Dead?
I mean, it just like everybody else, it's a yes for me. It's always a yes for me. It was very effective. I can do without the tree scene. Maybe it could have looked a little bit different. It shook me the fuck up though. I will say that. Like it stressed me out, shook me up in whatever it was trying to do, it did that. I'd rather have not. But it's a good movie. Like I feel like for it to be, just like Mark said, for it to come out in 1981, it's now 2023, and it still makes my kneecaps vibrate. Like, there are some parts that just effective. It doesn't have CGI. It's just straight up regular effects, regular makeup, and it looks the fuck good. It's still effective. I go up for movies around this time period because we're transitioning into the 80s, so you're still getting some of that 70s feel and some of that grit. So I'm a fan for that. Also, I read that apparently there was, a couple of things on set that kind of aligned with how things were going on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre set. Like it was hot as a bitch, maybe they ain't had no water. They was in there boofing, and people feeling, all that kind of like, y'all know what I'm talking about, like all that's in the air. So you can see that come across on the film, like because you can feel like this was maybe not the freshest smelling set. Like maybe, the lights were not really bright. Maybe it was just, they had crackers and water for dinner that night. They didn't have no sandwiches. Like it was given that. And so, you felt that. Exactly. You felt that. You felt the nervousness. You felt like, damn, it stink when you went in that basement. Like you was feeling that. So the movie was effective. She did what she came to do. And she's still inspiring the masses, the generations. The girls wish they could.
Yes.
But they could not.
What about you, Destiny? What are your thoughts on The Evil Dead?
I love this movie so much. As an aspiring filmmaker, I went to film school. I worked on a lot of student and indie sets, and The Evil Dead is so inspiring and so impressive. The way that they were able to accomplish what they did with as low of a budget is so inspiring, and it's a timeless film. I mean, the cinematography, the prosthetics, special effects, the sound design, the production design, everything is so gorgeous and like well done. And it really takes a certain level of creativity and talent to pull that off with such a low budget. And so shout out to Sam Raimi for, doing that and sort of creating this iconic horror film that changed the horror genre. I just love the aesthetic of the film. It's eerie, it's unsettling. The atmosphere, as others were saying, is just incredible. It's just something that never gets old to watch. Like, no matter how many times I watch it, I'm still scared. It's still terrifying, which you can't say about a lot of 80s horror films because, a lot of times when you rewatch 80s horror films, they don't hold up as well. They may be a little silly when you watch them today, but The Evil Dead never feels that way.
Yes. And I do want to mention the chaos, because sometimes I have to be mindful of who I'm watching The Evil Dead around, or like I can't turn the volume up so high because it's a lot going on, like you love her, and it's just a lot of screaming, a lot of like if I had it up full volume and you're my neighbor, like you might think some crazy shit is going on inside my my apartment, but yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time. But
the performances of the Deadites, I think, is really what puts it over the top. Like the girl, like Jazz was saying, the giggling shit, that was getting to me.
Yes.
That one by one, we will take that shit. Like, and mind you, I was living with my mother at this time, so her hearing all that, she was like, "Get that shit off of my mother, get it out of my house." So of course, it's gonna make me want to watch it more. But it added to it. If they didn't really have personality, it may not have worked as well.
Yes, yes. It definitely, everybody brought it. Everybody definitely brought the A game, you know.
Yes.
Now
And
what about Evil
I was
Dead
going.
2? Oh, what were you gonna say, Mark?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Now what were you
I
gonna
won't
say?
say nothing. I'm gonna say nothing.
Oh,
No, I was
okay.
just going to
Well,
say I just kind of found it like funny that all the girls went first and then the guys was like the last two standing. But I just always thought that was kind of creepy for them to go first, and it kind of changed. It flipped the script and gave us a final boy instead of a final girl. That's what I'm trying to say.
yes, yes, yes. They and it, it. That's one of the things that I will like. I do recognize with the Evil Dead, like especially like how they do like the final boy and then how they do the final girl. Now, it's very interesting. I do give them credit. We got two two strong. Well, we got a couple strong final girls. The past couple years. So um, but I love it. Now, Evil Dead 2 came out. Uh, I My dad showed me. We went to Blockbuster because I was like, "Yeah, I love the Evil Dead." He was like, "Oh, they made a two and a third one." I'm like, "Oh, so let's rent number two." And like my expectations were so high because of the first one, and I was just like so scared. And there's that scene where like Ash is running and then he falls into the grass or whatever, into the swamp or whatever, and then he comes up and you just see like his eyes, you just see evil Ash, and I just like that scene terrified the fuck out of me. Like I literally wanted to cut the movie off at that point as a kid. Like I would that's one thing I will say. I honestly feel like I really enjoyed the Evil Dead 2, but because the first one was just the tone of it was just like straight up horror. It was like kind of hard for me to digest a lot of the comedy aspects, of the second one, especially as a kid. As an adult, I was like, okay, this is what it is, like this is the franchise and stuff like that. But as a kid, it was hard for me to digest the comedy aspects, of the second one, So those were my thoughts on that. What about you, Kat? What did you think of Evil Dead 2?
Okay, so I wish I saw this as a kid. I feel like maybe I would have had different feelings about it, because you got that jovial effect. Not saying you got the glasses like a kind of rose lens on it, not like that, but like maybe I would have had a much different experience on it, especially because compared to some of the other movies that of the top whatevers that we all seem to have seen as kids. But I felt like it was because my laugh box is partially broken. It was full of a lot of JKs. I did enjoy some of the Deadite interactions. Like I thought it was fun when the deer that was mounted on the wall got real animated. It gave us that camp. I liked actually seeing something that was different from the first one and the second one when Ash becomes a Deadite and you think it like you're like, oh shit, he's infected, and then it leaves his body and you're like, oh man, he's good, and he comes back. It's like, no one's ever good. So I did like that. But I felt like, this wasn't my fave, but I didn't dislike it. Like everybody says, like kind of like Scream, there's no bad Scream movie. Like there's no bad Evil Dead film. I'm just like, okay, cool. I'm listening. I'm here. It's because y'all kept trying to throw those JKs at me. And I was up at this point, by the time I saw this movie, I have already seen the first one. So I was like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
What's happening here?
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't as bad of a shock for me as like Texas Chainsaw 2, but it was definitely like
Okay, I see the vision.
Or
Yeah.
Slumber
Mhm.
Party Massacre 2.
I still haven't
Yeah.
seen that.
I've seen them
Yeah.
all. I've seen every Slumber Party Massacre because I like the first one.
I
My
love.
foolishness.
God bless you, Jazz. God bless you. Because some things I had to fall off of. I had to get off. I had to jump off the roller coaster, or I had to jump out. I had to hop out the Uber. The car was moving. We didn't stop. I was just like, I gotta hop out. I gotta hop out.
Not you doing a rolling stop, like you rolling down the highway, like, oh, okay, by car.
Now, what were your thoughts on Evil Dead 2, Jazz?
I enjoy Evil Dead 2. It's still like the JKs, the jokes. It's much funnier. And of course, a lot of the comedy is not like dry humor. It's that slapstick, almost hit you in the face, and we're gonna haha make a boing sound, and then I don't find that funny. I never found physical comedy that much, like it's not that funny to me personally. You getting punched in the face, okay. The only physical comedy that I find really funny is like Don't Be a Menace or something with Ashtray's punching them kids. That's funny. I'm sorry, I don't know why that's so funny, but that's hilarious. But if it was somebody else, like I don't know, falling doesn't. I don't laugh when people fall in real life for real. Like I'm just like, oh, all right, okay. So that kind of comedy, if you like physical slapstick comedy, 2 is gonna be a hit for you. I like the iconic like chainsaw. I like that Linda dancing in the woods. That's cute. I like that. I like that they kind of streamline the story with just 2 people and you add the other people later. I like that. I like the effects in like Ash Eye when the sunlight hit him and he becomes undeadite. That's really dope. Like I enjoy a lot of Evil Dead 2, but it just didn't scare me as much. And then on top of that, the jokes, like there's jokes in it, but the jokes don't hit for me. So like that's a waste of time for me personally. But I enjoy it. I'd watch it again. I wouldn't have no question if somebody say, "Oh, we putting on Evil Dead 2," and I'm like, "All right, cool."
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's how I feel about it. I'm like, let's throw it on. Let's have some fun, especially in the background. It's some eye candy, definitely some eye candy. Now what about you, Michael? How do you feel about Evil Dead 2?
So I like when a movie will give me more information. So I liked that I saw, okay, Ash is possessed and he out in the sunlight in a little puddle. Okay, so now the demon might be gone or whatever. He's back to normal. I like that we got like a dagger that you can stab them with. The daughter showed up with some more pages that were ripped out. I don't know how the fuck she got those, but she showed up with some ripped pages, and then you could like recite some shit to get rid of them instead of it just being you conjure them up and that's just it.
Mm-hmm.
And Henrietta's crazy as fuck.
Henrietta was top tier villain for me. Top tier villain. Regardless of how I felt about like the movie as a whole, like I still felt like she was one of the most terrifying things that I've seen in that Evil Dead universe.
Yeah, even with all the humor that I was like, whatever, I still think certain aspects of it made me enjoy it more. Maybe also I was younger when I watched it. Maybe if I watch it again now, I might feel a little differently. But we will see, because I got to rewatch Evil Dead Rise when it's free and see how I feel about that again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now, what about you, Destiny? How'd you feel about Evil Dead 2?
So I definitely like the first one better, but I do really appreciate Evil Dead 2 for kind of taking it to a new level and sort of being more bold with it, introducing those comedy aspects. And I really like how the second one sort of makes the cabin itself and the woods itself feel like a character on its own. Like I'm a big production design person, so I love when like these set pieces feel like their own character. So like the house itself really feels like it's coming to life in Evil Dead 2, which I really appreciate. And I know we mentioned the scene with like the deer head and like all of the lamps and books are like talking because they become possessed. I love that scene so much. It was probably my favorite scene in the movie, outside of the beginning when Ash comes out of the mud and he's possessed. That scene is terrifying and shocking because we weren't expecting like Ash to be possessed at the beginning of the movie, right? So it was really like an effective jump scare. But yeah, I just really appreciate the effects and the prosthetics and just the bunkers crazy fun vibe that Evil Dead 2 has. But I will say that I do prefer this more serious and darker tone of the first one.
Yes, most definitely. Now, what about you, Mark? What are your thoughts on Evil Dead 2?
I echo a lot of people's sentiments on the panel. When I first saw Evil Dead 2, I only saw at the end of it, and so I kind of knew everybody was gone, and I was pissed off when Annie got daggered at the end, and I was like, damn. So and then Ash getting sucked into a portal. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? So I went back to see it with, from beginning to end. Like everybody said, I still prefer the dark, gritty tone of the original. And Tyrone, me and you talked about how I felt that some of the slapstick came from the fact that Ash has not had time to breathe. and his ass is mentally going crazy. So everything that's going on around him is just him just losing it. I was like, that's either part of him losing it and it's part of the Deadites playing with him and him losing it. So that's the only way I can make sense of the jokes, because I too don't like, you going from like, oh, this is the most terrifying shit I've ever seen, to like, oh, y'all making light of a situation. Like, no, don't do that. So I enjoyed it. It opened up the lore a little bit more, and I just gotta say, justice for Bobby Joe. I loved her. And a quick side note, I was watching General Hospital one day and I saw her. I'm like, I know her from somewhere.
Okay, she's One Life to Live.
Yeah, One Life to Live. Yeah,
Blair.
Yeah. And I was watching my mom. I said, I've seen her somewhere, and she was like, I don't know.
That's right.
And I went and did her credits. I was like, holy shit, that's Blair.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
I miss One Life to Live.
Yeah, that's why I love her so much. Even though she was me in the movie. Like, I'll be reacting the same way. Like, what the fuck is going on here? I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm finna run out this house because there's too much shit going on. But justice for Bobby Joe. That's all I gotta say. I love her.
Yes. It's one question that I gotta ask y'all with regards to Evil Dead 2. Is it like a direct sequel, or is this a remake? Because that's the controversial question. And anybody could chime in. Like, it's no.
Yeah, it's kind of like, you look at the wiki page, because I've been reading up on the stuff, a couple of years, but it depends on who you talk to, because like Jazz said earlier, they kind of streamlined it from just being 5 people into just him going in the cabin with Linda. But if you take that section out at the beginning of the movie and just start with him getting hit by the force and going through the trees, you can say that's a direct sequel. Because all while I was watching The Evil Dead last night, I was like, based on the rules, Ash should have been possessed. He got blood on him. He got cut up. Linda cut his leg up and shit. He should have got possessed. So it made sense to me for him when the movie starts off that he's possessed, because I'm like, there's no way in hell he should have sat there and just been like, okay, I'm fine and dandy, but no, you should have been possessed. And so that's how I take it. That's how I personally take it, is that it was kind of like a retelling of the original movie, the first 10 minutes, and then it just went to sequel mode then.
Okay.
Yeah, I was watching a video, and I think Bruce Campbell was like referring to it as like a requel. So they basically kind of, because apparently they lost the rights to like the first movie, so which is weird. Like, how do you lose the rights to your own movie? But so they kind of had to like recap the first movie, but with like different actors and stuff. And then when it gets to the point when he gets hit with the force, that's when it becomes like the sequel part. So they kind of have to like remake the first movie in like, the first 5 minutes of the film, and then go like, okay, this is where we left off. And then, so confusing, but I guess it works out, because it kind of allows them to have more creativity in a way, so they don't have to stay strictly to what happened in the first movie.
Yeah, I wish they would have explained that, because my dumb ass really thought he went back to this fucking cabin with somebody else and brought her here. It just don't make no sense. So I'm glad that I found that out later. It wasn't making no sense. But like, now I guess it's both, technically.
Very weird. Very weird. What were y'all thoughts, Jazz and Kat? Like, did y'all what do y'all think? It's a prequel, or I mean, not a prequel, but is it a remake?
I think it's a remake. I think they tried it. I think they tried to MIB renovate us, and I was just like, okay, girl. Like, we recently just talked about this. Jazz was like, it's like she described it as like somebody went in and deleted The Sims and said, let's try this again. And I thought that was a wonderful, wonderful description. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's the same family, but we're just gonna delete these 2 Sims, right? And we just gonna let the story go. We'll move to this. Yes, EA. Yes, you have to put it on your phone. I just downloaded the new kits, because I can't get enough. Anyway, Yeah, it's like they like, oh, we had this in family, but we're gonna play in the same house, right? And it's a haunted lot, and we're just gonna take the other two Sims out like that they was never there. Like y'all just deleted 3 Sims. Like we didn't see the first movie, and we did. We saw the first movie. What happened to Cheryl? Ash? Like what happened to everybody? But okay, it's just him and Linda, I guess. Fine. And you introduce those other characters. It's definitely like a requel, kind of like a reimagining, because you streamline the story. You retold the first story, cut out all the other shit that happened, but you kind of kept the pieces that you wanted. So that's more like a reimagining to me. And it's almost like Evil Dead 2 you could start at Evil Dead 2. You don't have to watch
True.
Evil Dead 1. Although I prefer Evil Dead 1, you don't have to. You can start from Evil Dead 2, and Evil Dead 2 goes into Army of Darkness. Ash versus Evil Dead ties directly into Army of Darkness. And the 2013 is a reimagining anyway, so it's like off to the side, like a side quest. So I think it's a reimagining. Like, no, we're gonna take the elements of story retelling, and we're just gonna cut out the first one like it never happened, girl.
Oh yeah, because I definitely feel like you said, you don't have to necessarily watch the first one if you're just gonna watch like 2 and then Army of Darkness, because they got like similar tones. But that's why I feel like people who prefer the first and 2013, that's why they bang with them like back to back so heavy, because they got similar tones. It's the seriousness, it's the gore, it's the terrifying situation, you know. But yeah, Bobby said they had to recreate the first movie quickly, then continue from him waking up from the pond. Yeah, very very interesting choices that they had to make. Then we get to Army of Darkness, which was where, like, I think the first time I saw it, I honestly did not like it. Like it grew on me over time. Like it was a fun time, but it was just like, it's something that I'm like, if I'm smoking, or if I have it, I own it. I don't hate it. It's just it's all right. It's a fun time. I do like the prosthetics, and when he's in the campiness of him being in the supermarket and stuff like that. But does anyone have any thoughts on Army of Darkness and how they felt about it?
I'm with you. Like, I really feel like, okay, it's a film, it's a time. I really think that the skeleton battle, well, the battle against the skeletons in like the Army of the Dead was really fun, because they're like, oh no, like the very much gives like what is that when you're watching, what did I call describe it as, eight-legged freaks, and the spiders all say funny shit as they flying away. Like, I think that's fun. I do like the campiness and the dramatics behind when he's opened up the different Necronomicons and he starts getting sucked inside. Like, I thought that was cool. But you already know how I feel. Like, it's a little bit too many JKs for me. And I'm just like, dang. But it's fun to put on in the background. Like, if you're into like slapstick throwback films, like, I think this is a good, like, just background filler film. Like, and I feel like, it's not too wild. Like, you can watch this as like with people, with family members and younger people. It gives a little bit of still have those horror elements, but it's not too much where it's like, all right, girl, what the fuck is going on?
No, I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree with that. Anybody else have any thoughts on Army of Darkness?
I would just say I appreciate its existence. It's not something that I would. It's not something that I would necessarily like watch to be invested in, but it's more of like a background film, like Kat was saying. And I do like appreciate like the production design and like the claymation effects and all that. The artistic elements of it are really fun. But then again, like the comedy is just a little bit too overboard for my personal taste. I think Ash versus Evil Dead has a lot of like that comedy where it's kind of like, you have all of these like one-liners from Ash thrown in there, like back to back to back, like, okay, we get it. But yeah, I appreciate it aesthetically, but it's not necessarily like an installment of the franchise that I would rewatch often.
I respect it.
Yeah, it's funny. It's silly. The skeleton though, the skeleton wars are worth watching. I'm gonna just let y'all know right now. The skeletons was cutting up, and I think I'm like, that movie's whatever. And then I watched the skeletons. I'm like, no, this movie's kind of fun. I'm not gonna lie to you. If they sold the set on a DVD, I would buy it and I would watch Army of Darkness here and there. I'm not gonna lie. When the skeletons is drumming, they blowing little skeleton bone flutes and shit. Why am I giggling? I think that's so silly and funny. But again, I'm not a horror comedy person. I'm not a comedy person. I don't watch a lot of comedies. So I have to be in the mood for that. Like I have to be in the mood to kiki a little bit. I have to be in the mood for a Monty Python fucking Deadite jamboree. Like that's what it's giving. Like it's giving Monty Python Holy Grail, but we got Deadites. So I need to be in that mood. I'm always in the mood for the first Evil Dead. So it's like, it's fine. It's good. If you like comedy, sure. It's fun. That's definitely more of a family film. I'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I definitely see a family. It's got a lot of family elements to it, minus a few certain scenes, but it's got a lot of family elements to it,
Yeah.
The
So, yeah.
boomstick scene is pretty funny too.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
It's just gateway with me. It's like y'all said, it's gateway horror for me. But at the same time, that was the one when it came out. I was like, this is connected to the Evil Dead series. How? It looks like it's a sci-fi epic, but not really epic. You know what I'm saying? And so I was like, and then I remember I said, oh yeah, he did get sent back in time in the last movie. I was like, okay. But to be dead honest with y'all, I had only seen Army of Darkness in clips up until the 2013 movie came out, and I went and binged the first three, and that was my first time seeing it from beginning to end. And I saw it again like a few months after that, just to try to keep up with it though. But yeah, it's not a fave. As Destiny said, thanks for being a part of the franchise and keeping it alive a little bit. But the only thing I took from that is the fact that there's 3 books. I thought that was pretty wild, and it expanded the lore a little bit more. And then going back and watching Evil Dead 2 again and realizing that he was prophesized, so he was supposed to have went back and be at that time point. Because once you when there's a time point created, time travel lore, once a time point's created, it's a stuck point in time. So he was meant to go back in time and do all that shit. So yeah, so that's the only aspect of it that I liked, is that okay, it pushes the lore forward, but as far as terrifying, grueling experience, no, it is not. It is nothing of the sort, as Tiffany Pollard was saying.
It's bippity boppity boo for the Evil Dead. I respect it. That's how I feel about it. Michael, did you have anything to say about the Army of Darkness? Or
I know I liked it as a kid, but if I'm being honest, I don't remember that much about the movie. I remember like the little scene where they throw him in the pit.
Yeah.
I remember Evil Ash. Evil Ash, I think, looked cool. The woman, I guess, that Ash was crushing on, her turning and being a Deadite at one point. I like that. That's all I really remember. I don't know what else. I don't know what happened. I remember being skeletons.
It's a weak point. Army of Darkness is a weak point for me in the series, most definitely. It's a weak point, most definitely.
But shout out to Sam Raimi for, guess being creative and being brave enough to do that with the franchise, because that couldn't have been an easy decision to like go from, Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2 to something like Army of Darkness.
Well, he actually wanted Evil Dead 2 to be there. That was his initial intention, to do Evil Dead 2, but the budget was just like, you gonna do what? You want to do what now? You want to do what? And so they told him, if you don't make it like the first one, then we need a repeat of the first one. Give us that, and we might give you that shit later on. But
he got it.
He got it. And I know a lot of people go up for Army of Darkness. A lot of people say it's their favorite Evil Dead movie, and I'm like, but it's I'm like, it's all right. Okay.
It's all right. It's all right. Now, we diving into, you know, a fan favorite, you know, the pretty girl in the room, you know, 2013, you know, Evil Dead, which came through. Fetty Alvarez came through, delivered, you know, signed, sealed, and delivered us this magnum opus. I just remember seeing the trailer and I was like, oh, because when it first was announced, I'm like, damn, y'all gonna remake like my favorite movie
Exactly.
or whatever. And then
Mhm.
I saw the trailer and the stills, and I'm like, okay, I'm interested. I'm interested. And then I saw the movie and just the emphasis that they put on prosthetics and things like that. And I was just like, oh, it was love. It was some love in this cauldron, in this pot right here. What did you think, Kat? What did you think about 2013?
That is exactly how I felt. Like I stay away from trailers, but I was really excited. I definitely went to go see this in the movie theaters. It did not disappoint. I felt like with the prosthesis, just down to detail when they get really close on the eye and you can see how there's like different colors. It's just so menacing, like the looks of the different deadites and how they looking at you and how they moving and shaking. It makes me nervous to this day. When you talk about movies that have a lasting effect on you and you start thinking about it, these are one of the movies that pop up for me. Especially like particular scenes that stand out. There's a scene in this movie where old girl is taking the needle and she's like stabbing him in the face, and then eventually the needle gets stuck under the eye, like right in the little pocket. And it really fucked me. I was like, damn, is he blind? Like, and the last time I'd seen a needle that made my skin itch like that was in spoiler alert, Saw 2 with Amanda in that needle pit. And I'm really just like, please,
Yeah.
Jesus, send me. Like, I can't. So that's how I felt about this film. It is effective. It is scary. You can show this to people. The girls is about to be shook. I feel like people nervous every time they press play. Like, it has so much rewatchability. I'm not bored. I don't feel like it went on forever. And it was endless blood. And it didn't just feel like they were throwing blood at us for no reason, like in a slapstick way. Like, it made fucking sense. This is OD. I love it.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. What about you, Jazz? What were your thoughts on 2013?
2013 was a blast. The first time I saw it, because Kat has it on DVD still. That was the first, because you know me and Kat used to live together. So the first time we watched it, it was all our friends sitting in the living room. It was daytime too, and it was still punching me in the face. I was like, "Ooh, the sun is coming through the blinds, but this is still scary." Like I
Mhm.
don't understand how this is, because I at that point I didn't even know there was a remake, because it was after 2013 when I watched it. It was like 2014, 2015, something about around about that time. And no, it's terrible. Like it makes my knees tingle a little bit. Like you gotta turn away. It's very gory. I enjoy the gore. It's very serious. It's very scary. The effects look great, like up close. If they use CGI, it's not like when because Ash vs. Evil Dead uses a lot of CGI. You could tell it's CGI. I'm like, did y'all do this on Paint? Like Microsoft Paint, this is wild. Like you shoot somebody in the head and it look, you know what, whatever. I don't know how to do the technology, and I know it's expensive, so I understand. But also there is a difference in between the two, and I know that for Evil Dead 2013, the practical effects mixed with the CG looks great. It looks amazing. It's almost like, dang, did they cut their arm off for real? Ooh, it just really takes everything from the first movie and elevates it just a little bit with the effects, with the scares, with the deadites. I just really enjoy that. It doesn't have the charm, because the first one got the charm because it's cheap.
Yeah.
The charm is by accident. It's not it's by accident. But I really enjoy 2013. Like it's up there. It's one of the better installments, which is wild to say for some kind of reimagining that came out 20 something odd years after the OG. Like
Yes.
that's wild. Honestly, what was it, 30 years? Because no, yeah, because 2011
Yeah.
would have been year 30. It's past 30 years, and you come out with a sequel reimagining that really is up there with the OG. That's rare. That's very rare. And I really, Fetty Alvarez is not playing with y'all at all. At all. I enjoy that movie. Would recommend it. Top tier out of the franchise. Not gonna lie.
Yes. Yes. What about you, Mark? What would be your thoughts on 2013? Your mic, Mark.
Sorry about that. They moving in and out upstairs, and I'm trying to make sure that I don't, they are bumping. But no, child, look, I'm like you, Tyrone. When they announced it as a remake, I was like, oh, here we go with this shit again. I just got to getting burned by Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm like 2010. I'm like, I don't have time for this shit. And so they released that trailer. I think it was, I don't know if it was South by Southwest that year. They released that trailer. The red band. No, let's take that back. I saw the green band first. Then they came out with the fucking red band. I watched that trailer, I know at least 20 times by the time I saw the damn movie in theaters, because that shit was an experience in itself. And then seeing Mia go, cut it. She was like, the girl said, I'm like, oh shit, they is really going for it. They is really not playing with you. And it wasn't CGI. Like the last scene of the trailer in the red band where she's taking the razor and she's going through her tongue with it. It's like, oh my God. And I'm not a gore person. I'm not one of the people who just like live for gore. But going into Evil Dead, that's like a component for the franchise. And I went with some friends to go see the movie, and I forgot their asses was there. I was all in that damn screen. And then once we left the theater, they was all talking about different shit. And I was still at the cabin. Like, what's going to happen with Mia now? Like, what's going to happen to her now? Like, because, yeah. Then they had the audacity to announce that, oh, that's the theatrical version. We have a whole unrated cut. And then I'm thinking, like, give me that shit immediately. And then we got the Blu-ray, and the Blu-ray is like, oh, this is just the theatrical version. I felt slapped in the face.
Trash.
So I have the unrated version the Screen Factory just put out recently in there, and I'm so happy right now because, yeah, they really did that. And I felt every person in the film. Like, I liked everybody except for Eric, because I'm like, you're the reason we was doing this shit. You're the reason why we in this shit. And the fact that he was getting the most brunt of the violence handed to him, I said, because you asked for that. You asked for all of this. Everything that happened to him, I know it was kind of squirmish looking, but I was like, no, you asked for that, bro. Like, I had no sympathy for Eric throughout the entire movie, because you found a book that's not only wrapped up in plastic, but bound by barbed wire. It would have stayed down there.
He ain't the only one. I hope you drag everybody else who be reading from this book.
Every person who speak Latin, that's a dead language. Girl, it's dead for who are you talking to? Who are you talking to? Nobody but the dead. Close the book. Me talk.
Close it. Close it. I'm right there with you. Close it. Close the book. Bury the bitch. Don't even sit there and look at it. But yeah, but Mike, I got you though, babe. I got you.
So that's your thoughts, Mike, for 2013. Like,
I just felt like, yeah, he did it, but he also realized, oh, I fucked up. Let's try to get her dead or figure this out real quick, because I know I did something wrong. I'm not gonna pretend I didn't do this shit for half the movie. Oh wait, he actually kind of did do that. He didn't say nothing to the end, but I wasn't expecting, even from the opener, I was like, this is a whole different movie. It's the same notes, but it goes harder. It's darker. All the self-mutilation when you get possessed, I can't do it. Wouldn't do it. Wouldn't be able to do this. Saw none of that. Just take me out. I don't know. The switch up of Mia being the final survivor.
Yes.
And them having a reason to be there. Although I was still kind of like, bitch, take me to a facility. Why are you taking me to the middle of the woods? You're still in nursing school talking about you gonna get me through this. I don't think so. So I loved it. I loved it. And the ending. It's just I don't know what else to say. The reflections of them when they, like, the first reflection you get of Mia when it's like flicking its tongue in the mirror at her, shit. I need to buy this movie. I don't have this movie. I need to buy it.
Yeah, it's definitely a collection. I have it on Blu-ray, but Mark saying that the unrated edition is out. I need to cop the unrated because the theatrical. I love the theatrical, but I feel like that unrated is going to take it to another level.
Listen,
so Bob and I watched the unrated version, so there is something different in that I kind of feel like takes away from the Deadites a little bit. But It's not that noticeable what they do with it, but it's still something I noticed. And was like, I don't like that, but it's all right.
Gotcha. And what about you, Destiny? This being your first Evil Dead, experience. How do you feel about this movie?
I love this movie so much. I've seen it so many times. My top favorite of the franchise. Just everything about it. It just seems like so much love and detail was put into it. We get everything that we loved about the original, but then so much more. And it's so bloody and gory and disturbing, unsettling. I have so much appreciation for Fede Alvarez for just going for it with the blood and gore, because he didn't have to, but he did. And just some of those scenes are so memorable. Like, they just stay in your head forever. Like the bathroom scene, for example, is one of my favorite scenes in the movie. So good. That needle scene, just like the cutting of the skin in the bathtub. It's just like everything about it is just like I have chills just thinking about it. But yeah, also fuck Eric for reading that book. Yeah, he found out the hard way, and he got what he deserved. So one of my favorite details about this movie is how the characters' names spell out demon. So you have like David, Eric,
wow,
Mia,
I didn't even know that.
Olivia, and Natalie.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, there's so many little details about this movie that I appreciate, and it just seems like such a love letter to the entire franchise, while also being something so original. Like, you don't have to know anything about the previous Evil Dead movies to watch this, because it's like a remake, but it's not a remake. It's like a reboot, because it's not copying the first movie, word for word. Mm-hmm. So I have so much appreciation for what this movie brought to the franchise. Love Mia as a character. She went through so much. She was going through it before the book was even read. So I just have so much appreciation for this movie and the characters. Olivia deserved better, I would say that. I feel like everybody was kind of mean to Olivia. Like, she was trying her best. She's just an RN, and everybody kind of had an attitude with her. She didn't know how to handle certain things. And I'm like, can y'all back off? Like, especially Natalie, because like, you don't even know her. Like, that would make me mad.
If I were Natalie, I would have been cussing everybody out. You brought me on this motherfucker. I don't even know this girl, and now I got to deal with demons.
Right. I'm just like, yeah. Some of that like tension and drama was like, okay. But yeah, overall, I just like really love this movie. I rewatch it all the time. Like, I never get tired of it. Never.
Yes. So that was 2013. Now we can get into hashtag, justice for Tony. And y'all can just chime in, your thoughts on Ash versus the Evil Dead.
It's fun. It's a fun show. It's thoroughly entertaining. I very much enjoyed the 3 seasons of Ash vs. Evil Dead. I love Pablo and Kelly. I love them as characters much more than Ash for obvious reasons. But yeah, but I very much enjoyed kind of like having these new characters part of the show and sort of adding on to the Evil Dead legacy by bringing in these new faces, especially with like characters like Pablo and Kelly running around with Ash and sort of being like these new icons in themselves. So that was really fun. What Jazz was saying earlier about the effects, some of the Microsoft Paint effects kind of take me out a little bit sometimes, but it's all fun. It's all fun. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed it to an extent.
I was gonna say, when they announced Ash versus Evil Dead, I was a little pissed because I wanted a sequel to Fede Alvarez's Evil Dead, but I was like, we got Ash. It's a TV series. We got more episodes. The lore can be expanded upon. Then they announced it. Jesus Christ, I'm country. Then they announced that I can't remember her real name, but Tony Childs. They announced she was going to be on the show, and that she was going to be Jill Marie Jones. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yes.
She was going to be a main cast member. She had like this backstory, and she was going to be hunting. I'm like, oh, she's going to come in to be a complete badass. She's going to have a gun, and she's for work for the FBI and shit. They built her character up, and you saw there was going to be something going on between her and Ash, and then as soon as they get to the cabin, cluck. I'm like, the fuck y'all did? I'm like, what the
Listen.
Wait, there was something supposed to happen between her and Ash?
They was
I
building
said
up.
that.
Yeah, they was building up to her being like a love interest for Ash, and as soon as they get to their cabin, and I'm like, well, goddamn, like, fuck her drag, you know what I'm saying? Like the fuck. And so I was mad after this, so I couldn't enjoy the last 2 episodes because all while they're sitting, all this shit is happening and all this, I'm like, they really killed off Jill Marie Jones, like for no reason under the sun. Like they didn't have any. I said, did y'all have any black writers on the set? Like, did y'all not write for her? Like, what's going on? So when they announced season 2, I was like, I'm gonna come to it when I feel like it, you know. So, but so I haven't seen it since then. I'm sorry, I'm going to just back out.
This sounds like when they killed Nicole Bahari in Sleepy Hollow.
Don't get me started on that.
Yeah, it was heavy. It was heavy. I was upset because I'm like, damn, I really liked her character, and I was like, okay, I haven't seen her in this space, Jill Marie Jones, you know, and she's still looking good, still looking like she was, and you know, girlfriends and everything. So I'm like, okay, let's get it. But her outcome, it was just like, really, this is what we gonna do? Like she was a hell of a deadite, but you know, I was just like, really, we gonna do this early? You know, I was just hoping they would. Like, I still was hoping that they were going to bring her back. Like, I still feel like with how they do with the Halloween movies and the different multiverses, I feel like in my multiverse, Jill Marie Jones is there.
Yes.
You know?
And can I say for right quick that when they announced the Evil Dead, the game, and they were saying like, we got characters from all those iterations of Evil Dead, and then I'm like, y'all, I'm seeing Amanda running around there with y'all, but let's not act like she's not a big character, you know, for us black folk, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't act like she is not somebody. They were getting they were doing articles on like, oh, Cheryl's being added to the Evil Dead, so from Army of Darkness being added to the Evil Dead. I said, Amanda is right there. I need an article about how she's a part of this damn legacy and stuff like that. Don't do my girl like that. That was like, okay, y'all still want to play games? Okay, fine, whatever.
Forever playing games.
Yeah, they added her to the game way too quietly for me. I'm like, where's her hype at? Like, come on.
What about you, Jazz and Cat? How did y'all feel about the Ash vs. Evil Dead?
Okay, so I'ma just already let y'all know. Like I said, I didn't try to give it a try a couple times, but I keep falling asleep because life is whooping my ass. I know Jazz like, oh no. So I'm a little grandpa now. For what I did see, I was giggling, but I'm like, oh wow, guys. Well, I'm gonna just hold the basketball while y'all trying to pick members of the team. That's how I feel right now. But it's all good because I'm gonna catch up later. But I know Jazz told me a little bit about the show and said that, you know, it's a little offensive, but also not offensive enough where I'm gonna shut it off as soon as it starts. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it a try.
Yeah, it's not Deadstream, or it's not what was that other one? What was that other one? Dash
y'all
Cam.
knew how I felt about
Yeah,
that
Dash Cam. Yeah,
Like
it's not
I
as
didn't
bad.
even see Dash Cam. I couldn't. I was
Yeah,
like,
I did because y'all know I'm a watch it so I can cuss everybody else about it. So I can, because you know people like, you didn't even watch it. Yes, I did. So exhibit A, B, and C. Let me make my points. But yeah, I started Evil Dead, Ash vs. Evil Dead, literally yesterday, because I had no real interest in the show. I don't watch a lot of horror shows in general, but because we were redoing Evil Dead, I was like, you know, I've seen all the movies. Let me jump into the series so I can have something else to say. So I ain't just, you know, reiterate some, you know, same old shit. There's a lot of real random ass racism. What they did with Tony Childs is criminal. It's criminal. The fact that y'all even thought that she would even date Ash is really sending me to hell, because I you know, but they don't know her as Tony Childs, so I just have to bring it back. And like, y'all don't know who girlfriend, y'all don't know Tony Childs, but we know her as so you're like, girl, Ash, who works at S-Mart in a trailer, you think that Tony Childs, girl, this bitch had a Barbie made of her. You think that she's gonna date this man, and then you think she's gonna be a cop? Oh, I also don't like y'all putting the black characters as cops. That's a trope. Black characters as cops, therapists, maids, sidekicks, best friends, all tropes. Don't like it. Disgusting. Holding my nose, bitch. Pablo needs a different haircut. I'm really mad about his haircut. It's looking. I don't know why they did that to him. Pablo is a handsome young man. I don't know why they did that to him. I also don't know why he's the sidekick to Ash, and Ash is just being racist to him all the time. Low key, high key. But the show is still fun. Like, it's a very fun show. It reminds me of Supernatural if Supernatural was just the main characters and Deadites. And I love Supernatural, even when it gets bad. So I'm like, if you enjoy Evil Dead 2, I think that Ash versus Evil Dead is a good ride for you, because that's the kind of Ash you're getting. You're getting groovy. You're getting, Ash is getting to the bitches. All he do is get to the bitches. He even fuck around and send the Deadites on people by accident because he trying to get to some coochie. I'm like, Ash, the world is in danger. You trying to smell somebody's crotch. Like, what's going on? Stop reading the book for some bitches. Stop. And he won't stop. So that's fun. The characters, it's a fun show. Not gonna lie about that. It's just that it is a little problematic, and I can see people being turned off by some of the choices, some of the line delivery, some of the writing in general. But as Deadites, and if you want to see Deadites get into some bullshit, this is the show you should watch. I think it's worth that. It's fun. I'm not going to say don't watch it. It's not even that bad. Yeah. It's not even that bad. But you're definitely going to hold your nose. Because like I said, I'm midway through season 2. And I'm like, girl, not you saying this. Not you talk about Latino culture like this. Ash. And again, I seen Bubba Hotep. He's problematic, and Bubba Hotep as well. Like, I think Ash is just a little problematic, friends. I think he is.
I think that's Bruce Campbell in general. Like, I feel like that's him. He
brings it to the roles.
Yeah, he's Uncle Bruce. I just feel like, he says the inappropriate shit. It's Uncle Bruce.
That's the perfect name to call him, Uncle Bruce, because he's the one you gotta sit there like, look, watch out for my uncle. He a little.
Yeah, he a little off. He gonna say something a little out there. He gonna say something a little out there. I will say that I did appreciate them adding a little bit of color into the Evil Dead universe.
Oh wow, I didn't
with the multiple characters.
I didn't even notice that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We got a couple more people other than Jill Marie Jones and Pablo. Up in there.
Yeah, even season 2, the girl in the car, it's a black lady. I don't know her name, but you have other characters of color in there, and I do enjoy that. So
yeah, it was the one girl from Queens, that rapping show with Eve and yeah, she was in there.
Oh, okay.
Is Xena on this show, or am I making that up?
No, she's on there.
Yeah, Xena Warrior Princess. She's on there as well. It was a time. It was I think Netflix they took it off. I think either today or yesterday.
Oh, fuck! Yeah. Well, fuck my drag. I'm gonna go here and watch it.
I won't be watching it no time soon.
But yes, that was Ash vs. Evil Dead. Now we can finally give our thoughts on. In our takes on the best movie of the year, the best horror, the best horror movie of the year.
Wow,
as some would call it, Evil Dead Rise. I was very excited when they announced that they were making another one, but I was like, okay, where are they gonna go with this? Had a lot of hype, was Bobby had sent me a link, to see it early premiere of it. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna see it early. I'm gonna record my review. I'm gonna record 2 reviews, I'm gonna record one and then I'm gonna record it in ASMR for these motherfuckers, because I'm gonna hit them twice, and it was an experience. It was definitely an experience, I did not like the movie, people. I did not like the movie. I think I gave it a pity. I think that 3 stars on Letterboxd is a pity 3 stars. It was a pity 3 stars. it is what it is. I was very polite and you know, respectful with it on people under the scares. You know, it
You
was
were.
my honest
Yes, you were.
opinion. You know, but I honestly feel like there were some dope parts for me, like the callbacks. You know, Dead by Dawn and certain imagery. And I love my girl Bridget. You know, she was getting it in. You know, but mommy Deadite, you know, Alyssa Sutherland, you know, she did her thing,
Mhm,
you know,
mhm.
but I feel like it let me down. It let me down. Y'all parading around a cheese grater for 6 months, and then I get one scrape. I go to the premiere. You got little cheese graters on the desk, and I'm like, how is the pencil in 81 more effective than the cheese grater? You know, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, people. You know, like how are you going to play with my emotions like that? You know, let's talk about how the demons was really only on one floor. Let's talk about the Deadites was really only on one floor. Let's talk
Yep.
about how sloppily, you know, this whole revealing of this book came about because an earthquake, like really, and then you crawling down underneath, like you in LA, you know about aftershocks. Like, come on, people. Like, even as a kid, like I grew up in Sacramento, California, it just was not believable for me.
Oh,
You know, it was not believable for me at all. You know, I felt like there the connections that we got with the siblings and, you know, 2013 was very believable, you know, but the connections in this one was not. I felt like Beth, you know, she was an okay aunt, but that's it. You know, she was our final girl, but was she final? Was she the final one? Really? Because I just I don't know. I don't know. It's it just mm, yeah, yeah. And I'm such a fan that I feel like I have to purchase this on Blu-ray just because, you know, and it's something that I could throw on or whatever. But I feel like, you know, and I don't want to like trash Gen Z or whatever because because I always say like maybe this is like a Gen Z type movie. Then, you know, the younger ones is probably going to, you know, latch on to this or whatever. But I'm like, yo, I was not feeling it, and I felt like there could have been a much better movie. Like, you pissed me off in the beginning with a lot of the things that you were doing,
Yeah.
a lot of the things, you know, as far as the intro and, you know, just drones and her rising from the water with the Canva ass credits in the background. Like, come on, people. What is we doing? What is we doing? Come on.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm so excited for this.
I feel
Oh my god.
Yes. I have
The
been
cat's like, I
waiting.
agree.
Listen, because ever since that People on the Scares episode, I said, boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, I can't wait because I'm gonna watch this movie and I'm gonna talk to everyone. I was waiting, and here is the day. Wow, so exciting. Let's go. See, here's the thing. I didn't even watch this trailer. So when I hear everybody talking and I see all the emojis and oh man, they're about to, you know, scrape the leg up. I said, okay, bitch, well, this needs to be some shit. It was entry level. I felt like overall, because I'm not gonna use this as a bash the movie, I felt like it was lacking some seasoning. Like that's the best way to describe it. Like it was trying to go there like Degrassi, but it was falling short. Like I didn't really connect with the auntie. Like I definitely understand she was out here, you know, she was a little, it was a choice just to make, it was just, I don't know, like they really wanted us to care about her subplot and what she had going on, and I just could not. Like I really was just like, so you just found out today that your sister had a lot of shit going on. Like you ain't never listened to the voicemails, not even en route to the house to pretend like you knew what the fuck was going on. It just didn't even feel realistic to me. I did like how all of, like, no one was safe. Okay, I'm gonna go there. I did not like how all the brown people died first. So we're gonna also go there. It was just some layers to it. I did like how the cabin in the woods house was like a triangle. It very much gave Midsummer feels. The lens was like kind of circular, so it made us feel like we were all kind of just huddled in together. It started trying to set the scene, but then I felt like it tripped. I'm cracking up, Bobby, or whatever it takes. I felt like it tripped on the way to its seat. Like, that's really, I don't know. I gave it a 3 out of 5. I'm crying at you saying that you gave it a 3 out of 5 to keep it cute. And I'm just like, I'm teetering back and forth between 2.5 and a 3, just however I feel. It's not the worst. But goddamn, like, I really thought, like, I wanted to see, like, I think Bobby said it on the episode, I wanted to see some scraping, bitch. Like, we're seeing, like, back to the pink meat. Like, maybe we get a little bone exposed. We can see, look at everybody's face, just cutting up like that, like, leaning into it. And for me, it was the lack of the practical effects. And if they did use practical effects, I can't tell, because it was a lot of CGI, and the way it was placed on like the mom's face and everybody, it was very much given Instagram filter. And so like it just looked too computer for me. So that's why I was kind of like out of it for me personally, because it was just like, all right, well, it's kind of like what's that girl, like the prequel to The Thing. The name escapes me. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And they kept in the movie could have been, you know what I'm talking about?
2011.
Thank you. And I really feel like, well, you know, maybe. But you know, it was so much computer. I was like, all right, you could have just not computered this enough. Like, you could have took some of the AI money and you could have put it towards like a bucket of blood. Like, we could have did something like that. I felt like it was just lacking a little bit. What y'all thought?
It was I think it was as far as the prosthetics, it was giving Halloween at Sephora. You know, that's what the prosthetics was giving. Halloween.
Did you say Sephora? Did you say Sephora?
Yes, he did.
Halloween
Horror Nights filter in a photo booth.
I damn near turned my camera off. Oh my God, no!
Fangoria filter during the Chainsaw Awards. That's what it is giving.
Not IG filters, not the Snapchat filters with the fucking monster face, bitch. I'm fucking dead.
I am, yes.
I just
okay.
So, like, to the point of The Thing, it's like a movie that was special because of the practical effects. You then decide you're going to do a lot of CGI. 2013 raised the bar so high that this movie, like, you had to at least meet it. And I personally was let down by that aspect. I didn't find the Deadites, other than Alyssa, to be memorable. Even the two kids. Oh, wait, spoilers in this?
Oh,
before
yeah.
I start talking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody ain't seen
it. So the kids dying, definitely a plus. I needed that, especially when I saw there was 3 of them. I was like, all 3 of them better not survive, because I'm not going to buy it. I didn't mind Beth. I liked her. I just think there was not enough oomph. Like, she didn't seem that scared. Like, it just, the whole time, I just felt like she's not scared at all. Don't get me started on it being in a fucking high rise and they on one floor, like you said, Tyrone. I could not believe it. You put them on in a 1-story house if you're going to do this. Don't be putting them in no high rise. Doesn't make any sense. I wanted Beth. I think Beth would have been a better final girl if they gave her, like you said, like Raid going in the building floor to floor, fighting a bunch of Deadites and shit. That would have built her shit up for where it was believable that she was going to be over the shit in the end. Also, that little girl, she could be dead too. I just
come get some. Really, come get some.
In this, but like I said, if Bruce Campbell said it, I think people would like it. I don't. I don't know. But I feel like we dragged it a little bit just now. So who loved it?
Well, listen, I can throw out some positives. Just to switch gears.
Thank you, Destiny.
I did like the change. I did appreciate the change of the setting, you know, on the challenge. Was a bit goofy with the earthquake situation, not gonna lie. But First of all, the elevator scene and sort of like using the records and like Danny's little DJ setup to like play the records, and like I was reciting the book. I thought that was really cool and refreshing. And I love that elevator scene. Amazing take on the tree scene, you know, done in a way that's not as controversial. Super scary. I love that shot when the force first comes in and the elevator starts rising and she just like kind of rises up to the ceiling, and then you just see like each floor going past. I love that scene. The sound design, amazing sound design.
Yeah.
I will say the cheese grater scene did let me down. I was expecting a lot more. But what did get me was the moment right before that, the swallowing of the glass. That extreme close up where you see the glass like come out of the neck, like it just protrudes out as she's swallowing. That took me out like significantly more than the cheese grater. I was like, okay, they really hyped up that cheese grater, but it did not get me like the glass got me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just trying to think of more positives. I did like the relationship between the mother and the children, and I wish that the movie focused on that instead of the sisters, because they, you know, we already got the estranged sibling dynamic in 2013, and that was done very well. You know, there was a lot of three-dimensionality with the characters, but Beth was just giving nothing for me. She was very boring.
Very Laurie Strode Halloween 1. I'm just saying.
Like, super boring character. So yeah, I wish they kind of focused less on Beth and Ellie was the mother's name, right? And more on the mother and the kids. Like, I would have liked to see their family drama fleshed out, you know, with the dad, you know, the mom and dad kind of splitting up, and, you know, how the children felt about that, because you get kind of glimpses into like what each of their relationships are with the mother, but they don't really dive into it enough, I feel like. And I wanted more of that. I wanted to know more about these characters and their relationships. And I think Beth kind of took away from that in like an ineffective way, because they didn't really do anything with Beth either that was like felt significant to me. So I feel like the character work could have been a lot better, because like we all said, 2013 really raised the bar for so many different elements of the franchise. So
you bring up
I expected more.
It would have been interesting to see Ellie not be possessed, but her kids being possessed, and having to see a mother have to like take her kids out versus the aunt having a kid, because that's more of a struggle than the auntie having Bobby.
I'm glad he caught that, because I was waiting for something to say. But go ahead, Mike.
I try to sneak it in there. But I did think of a positive. I did like the little religious aspect that we got, like the little backstory of the vinyls and the priests or whatever they were. I kind of wish that was the opener versus the opener we got. Like, give us a flashback of them discovering all this shit, the first times they realized that people getting possessed, and then get us to the movie so it connects that, versus some people. Who the fuck are these people? Just somebody who's randomly in there in the fucking high rise. Who cares?
Exactly.
We don't know them.
Wow. I didn't know it was gonna be an onslaught here tonight. I mean, granted, when I came out the theater, and I think it has a lot to do with, I'm not trying to put personal stuff in, but you know, personal shit has happened. Tyrone and Michael are where so I kind of got sucked in with the family aspect of it and the sibling aspect of it and whatnot, and you being not there and how that affects your relationship with your sibling when they're going through hell, and then you just pop in like, oh, everything's hunky dory. So I got they drug me in. But I will say one thing though, because pretty much all the negatives that I did have with the movie, everybody has explained on the panel already. Because one thing that got me was the hype. And I think that's the reason why a lot of people are like so on the fence with the movie, is because of their promotional drive they did with the cheese grater. And I think they had like a promotion where they showed the cheese grater, the scissors, and I think a frying pan or something like that. And they were saying like these are going to be like but it's like when you get to them, it's like, oh, okay, I did have a problem with everything transpiring on the floor, and I think somebody said it best on Instagram, where the onslaught of the other side characters was done through a peephole, and it was like we didn't get a chance to like for that tension to build, and then shit to be taken out one by one and stuff like that, because we like when shit happens like one by one. We're gonna take you one by one, and just like, okay, I done got all these other motherfuckers out the way. Let's focus on you. You know what I'm saying? So it's just us four now. Let's play. And it's like, okay, so but other than that, I think the thing that I liked the most about it was the change of scenery. And it shows, I mean, some people can sit there and say, well, they did that with Ash versus Evil Dead. But I'm like, not everybody saw Ash versus Evil Dead. Some of people don't even know it exists. So when you say Evil Dead, people automatically assume cabin in the woods. What's Ash's car? Just something like that. The boomstick, the chainsaw. They expect all of this shit. So to take it and put it in an urban setting was very appeasing to me, and that's why I kind of give it a lot of like y'all tried to do that. But I think what Mike said a few seconds ago was even better. If they had went back and showed how the book got, in the bottom of the apartment, that would have made more sense, because we're following one of the three books from Army of Darkness, and for them to just say earthquake. Earthquake. I mean, California is known for earthquakes and whatnot, but if you already established that this building is raggedy as fuck, why the fuck would you go down into the basement of an unstable building to go and see what the hell's going on in there? I would have took a phone and snapped it down there and said, okay, some shit down there, but I'm not going to go down there. If you knew it was a bank, I guess he thought, we're strapped for cash. Maybe I can go down there and find some money. Who's going to leave money in the goddamn bank? That bank was cleared the fuck out when they cleared out of it. There's no money down there. But the fact that he brought up, the book and then the records, I'm like, they handed it there with this record player and everything. I said, he's going to be the one that's going to start all this shit. So, Mike, when you said earlier, anybody that sit there, I was like, I was not upset with him, because I was like, dude, you technically, I don't want to put that on a child, but I was like, you killed your mom and your sister because your sister sat there and told you, I don't like this shit, get rid of it. That should have been an end all say all, but no, he had to sit there and open up the book and play the records. I'd have been that motherfucker still and been like, I told you, to get rid of this shit. Get this shit out of here. I'd have threw it outside on the rainy night in the alleyway for somebody else to sit there and fuck with it, because we're already in a state of fuckery. Our dad just walked out on us. We have to be out the building at a certain time. Why are you adding on to the shit? So I did not like Danny at all. I'm sorry. But I did like Cass and I did like Bridget, and the trailers kind of spoiled me, who was all going to be become Deadites though. But I was upset that they did not like expand upon the other residents on their floor. Mm-hmm. And even, I don't want nobody to sit there try to compare it to Demons 2, because Demons 2, everybody got on each goddamn floor, all the way from the ceiling all the way down to the fucking garage. Everybody got their business. But I don't know, but I still like the movie for what they tried to do. Now I don't like the prologue, because like a friend of mine said, they took it back to the cabin setting, but the E was unleashed and we don't know where the fuck it's gonna go next. So
and how the fuck did she get there? Like she said she was possessed when at the end of the movie, like it was going towards her. Did she catch an Uber? Like she said, "Oh, I'm coming to pick you up." Like how the fuck did she get to the cabin possessed? Is Deadites driving now? Like what's?
Well, didn't the boyfriend say that he had to pick her ass up because he said he was giving her medication on the way there and she's just been sick the whole entire time? But I'm like, this strain of, because the Deadites to me are now a strain. They're like a strain of a disease. So this strain of Deadite held off for a minute, because in the building it was just knocking folks out. Not Beth, what's the child name? Bridget got the tattoo, then she became one, then she stabbed her brother, he became one. It was just like instantaneous. But why did they hold off with her? That lets you know that the Deadites are very tricky. They're very tricky.
Was it because For some reason, the ones when they fly, you see the camera moving and shit. It seems like those ones are prolonged versus the people who get attacked and almost on the verge of death. They seem to turn quicker.
That's a good point. That's a damn good point. Yeah, that's a damn good point.
But also, you're introducing a new environment. You don't need to take us back to the cabin. Put them in I don't know what stadium is out there. I don't go to sports events, child. But someplace public. She's possessed, and now she out there. That makes more sense if you're going to bring it to an environment where there's more people versus bringing it back to the cabin where it all basically started in the middle of nowhere.
Go to Beverly Hills and fuck up they damn shenanigans. Go to Rodeo Drive. You know what I'm saying? Just sit there, just fuck up a Coach area or a Balenciaga store or something like that.
Yeah.
Somebody get hit with a Balenciaga shoe.
So what did you think,
or Louboutin?
Did you like the melding of the Play-Doh monster? You know, the little Play-Doh monster.
Deep sigh. Okay, y'all talk about that big ass they took everybody else and put them in a panini press, and it was a deadite panini press situation where it was all the limbs. I'm not mad at it, but it gave me Jangly Man with deadite, and I wasn't it was fine, but it wasn't y'all got this as the finale. For me, it just didn't give me finale. And I wasn't mad. So I think some people really enjoy this, and I like this movie. Let's not take it like I don't like the movie. I do like the movie, but there's just some choices that you made this, expanded the lore, and you gave us this big ass fucking monster with 15 legs and 18 arms, which okay, fine, whatever. Just for the monster to be put into a leaf blower or a wood chipper later on, it's turned into soup. Later on, it's not like it's out here really causing whatever havoc. Most of the people are already dead by the time this deadite comes out. There's only 2 alive people, so it's whatever. Okay, girl, fine. I mean, I feel like it could be scary. I do like the expansion, but I feel like they showed too much of it. They showed it in the book. They showed us the monster up front. I feel like what would have been nice is you see them, and they showed us the transformation. You see all the deadites linking up and coming together like this. They show that. I feel like they should have showed part of that and then nothing else. You should have showed 4 hands peeking around the side with one head. That would have been really fucking dope. And then maybe, but they showed us the monster up front. We saw the picture in the book. We saw the big ass monster. We know what this is, girl. And then you showed us that for 20 minutes, you got them running around chasing 2 characters. Girl, I'm tired. Okay, fine. It's not bad. But there's so many things still to like about the newer movie. I'm not upset about it, but also the ending, the main character they tried to push. She didn't earn that. They gave her oh, this is Bruce. This is new Ash. And she didn't earn that. They should have took the whole baby shit out of there. Forget that. Because y'all just did that so that I could be it's a baby in here. Girl, okay. Girl, just make her let her sit here in the front and listen to the voicemails and see that she was a bad auntie and she was not pulling up for her family, and let her try to regain, her arc should have been her trying to reintegrate herself back into her family with her aunt, her nieces and her sister. And that could have been her trying to save the day as an aunt, would have been fine. She didn't have to have a baby. It didn't have to be none of that. It could have been bitch, I haven't listened to my voicemails in 2 months. And I feel like that's relatable. I got voicemails from whenever, because I don't be listening to voice. That can be a thing where, oh damn, my siblings is going through this, like Mark was saying. Let me pull up on I'm fucking up. They going through a divorce. They about to move out. I should be here. I should be here for this. And her pulling up last minute when they about to pull up, and her trying to integrate herself and help her family, and her being thrust into position where she has to now take control of the family because her sister is a deadite. That I think that would have been had more weight, especially if they would have spent more time giving the relationship of the sisters, especially if they were closer before, because you don't even know how close they were before. You don't know nothing about. You don't know how close she is to her nieces and nephews. None of that. It would have been nice if we could have said like, no, they was close, and then Mama started fixing guitars, and now she out here, and she was gone for 6 months. That would have been really nice for her to try to come back and try to, fit back into the situation where they were close already. But otherwise, like, girl, you ain't ever here anyway, so who gives a fuck? That's how I feel.
Oh yeah, I did. I felt like they could have had Beth and Ellie both possessed, and then the kids dealing with that, because we just watched, like, we're in the age of like Skinamarink and things like that, and I thought they were gonna play on that a little bit. Like, I like not necessarily all the way found footage, but just like, oh, mommy's here, auntie's here, we're and the kids just got to navigate through that shit. Like, that shit would have been horrifying.
Yeah. I would have loved to see Cass be the final girl, honestly, like a child final girl. That would have been like super unexpected and refreshing, like giving kind of like the Jamie Lloyd character from Halloween 4 and 5. You know how she was kind of like the final girl face of those movies. You don't see that a lot. The kid being the only one who survives. So I thought that could have been like a really good plot twist moment of like, oh, the kid is the one who finishes everyone off, because she was doing pretty good for herself, honestly, like with her little staff. I did like that foreshadowing moment though, with her little staff the doll head on the spike. I love the foreshadowing, the beginning of the movie when she's chasing Bridget, like playfully chasing Bridget with the staff, and then later in the movie she ends up killing Bridget with the staff. I like that little foreshadowing moment. But I did love Cass as a character, and I think it would have been super cool if she was the sole survivor instead of Beth being there, because Beth was not giving anything.
But did she make the right decision by opening the door for her mom? Like when she was at the bank? Like, come on,
oh no.
But I'll cut her some slack because she's young.
Yeah, I mean, like she's what, 4 or 5? No, she's not 4. 4 is too young. She's like 6. She's like 6, 7 max. And yes, that she's a scary monster, but that's her mommy. She's 6, or 7. I wouldn't have opened the door as a 6-year-old, but I had already started watching horror movies. Yeah, but that's still her mom. She don't know nobody. Like, we are all horror fans, and we started watching horror a long time. If my mama would have had the white eyes and would have been outside, I would have had to call Grandma Jean. Grandma, mommy, I don't know. I'm like, hold on, let me ask a grown up. I would have to ask a grown up. You just gonna open the door for this deadite who is clearly out. Like, your dad's back, girl. Fuck you. No, thank you. I'm
and
sorry.
They all dropped the ball. Like, y'all left her at the front door by herself. The aunt separating herself from the other kids, shutting herself in the room, putting the headphones on so you can't hear nothing. I just the whole family dropped the ball. I do think Cass would have been interesting because they did do this. They almost set her up like the other siblings were scared of her, like she might be the kid that would fuck some shit up if given the opportunities. Even if she was like a Kevin McAllister type of shit. But we got what we got.
And can we talk about Daniel's arm when he supposedly got stabbed? Because that was not his arm at all.
No,
that was not his arm.
I didn't catch that.
Well, you're gonna catch it when you rewatch it, Mark. That was not his arm, buddy.
Oh wow! I was gonna say Cassie as far as she reminded me of my little niece, who is just turned 5, but on a different spectrum. My niece is very prissy, but she asks the same types of questions. So I guess that's another reason why I fell for the movie. However, I knew that Cassie was gonna be down with the shit when I saw her cut the doll head off. I said, "Oh, she's with the shit. She's gonna be like, this is scary though, but I can take it. I can take it." But yeah, as far as Danny, arm, was it a tattoo that showed that? What gave it away? Tyrone?
It just looked like it was not attached to his body. It just looked like a stiff piece of plank that they placed there, and they were like, "Scream now, scream now."
It's like them toys that you broke the arm off and it's just hanging off on the side, and you try to like clip it back in, but it don't go in all the way. That's what it looked like.
Scream now. We need you to scream now. And that's how it looked.
And can in the same tone as 2013. And what I meant by that is that it's very serious. It's no jokey every 5 minutes. It's not slapstick or anything like that. It's very serious. Now, like I told y'all, I'm not a gore person, but when you come to Evil Dead, you got to bring the gore. Now, I will sit here and say that was lacking towards until the end of the movie. There was aspects within the possessions and stuff like that where you saw kind of gory shit going on, but at the end of the day, I feel like Alyssa Sutherland's Ellie carried the entire movie because she was the focal point. You know, her being possessed and everything. I know the audience I was with was laughing when the guy was trying to close her eyes and they kept popping back up. And then he finally closed them. And then when Beth was talking, she turned back around, her eyes was open again, and you saw the fly. And then she sat up. Everybody's like, "Oh shit!" But it's like stuff like that. It's just little stuff like that that helped her carry the movie because she was the Deadite,
Right.
you know. So I like that aspect of it, and I think that's why I champion it. But y'all done made me feel all types of ways tonight on this panel. Tyrone, this is a first for me. I have never seen you go in. That was a read. Like Bobby said in the comments, that was a full-on read. So I'm gonna give you your library card on that.
Listen, it's I modeled my name, you know, partially after this franchise, you know, so it's not like I don't expect it to be perfect because even 2013 wasn't perfect for me. There were certain things that I had issues with, you know, especially throughout the franchise, you know, but this movie, it just was like, I just felt like, damn, like, you know, and then they talking about, yeah, we're gonna make another one every 2 years, you know. And I remember at the screening, like they had a clip of some guy, I guess like he was napping and they woke him up and he was like, oh, this movie was bullshit or whatever. And I'm like, rude. But now I'm like, you know, like not to say that this movie is bullshit or whatever. Like it's not a terrible movie, people. It is not a terrible movie. I just feel very passionate about the franchise, and it just it didn't hit for me, you know, and it fell below Army of Darkness, and I didn't think that was possible for this franchise for me to fall for something to fall below Army of Darkness, but it fell below Army of Darkness. And I was like, damn, like I really I started recording a review for it, and I was just like, yo, I don't want to put this negative energy into the universe right now. But I feel like I let it loose a little bit tonight, you know. I kept it cool, nice, calm, and collected on People Under the Scares, you know. So I feel like that's more representative of how I was how I want to be portrayed. But to be honest, like everything I said tonight was just how I was feeling. Like it was not
Hey,
it was not, you know, it was not for me. I will be purchasing it though, because the mom, Alyssa Sutherland, she did her fucking thing. I did like the callback, you know, Dead by Dawn. Um, there were certain things, even though I was not banging with the prosthetics, I feel like we took a step back. I feel like this movie was not bringing Evil Dead into the future. I feel like this is a regression, you know, for me.
A part of me feels that, and I want to say before I go further, Tyrone, out of all the negative comments I've heard about the movie in the since it's been released, I and Kat and Jazz, you know, everybody on the panel, this is critique what we're doing right here. This is not a toxic ass responses to something we don't like. We're not sitting here denouncing it as an Evil Dead film. We're not sitting here saying that Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell and Robert Taper need to be shot and drug out to hung for what they wanted to do with their franchise. We're not doing any of that. We're just saying that, you know, people, because that's what I've been hearing. I've been hearing people say like it's the exorcism of mommy. It's not an Evil Dead movie, and and I'm like, Jesus. It's kind of reminds. It's reminiscent of Scream 5 and 6, with people saying not my city Prescott, this and that and all that bullshit. But I was gonna say maybe it's because we didn't get like a grand stand on like not CGI, but practical effects and all that, because we all know that this was originally supposed to have been a HBO Max original movie. It was not supposed to go to theater, so everything they had was already pre-shot, and they took it to a test screening, and they had a bang ass test screening with people, and it was probably just some,
Yes.
I don't want to call them generic horror fans, but people who are like, not as invested in the genre as we are, and they just said we can sell some money with this. Now, I understand that test screening. I don't understand because House Party remake was also this during the same test screening. They got a theatrical release. I don't know what folks was smoking when they went to go see that, but this Evil Dead Rise, I was just looking for it to come. I was looking for it to be an HBO Max original movie. I wasn't expecting it to be taken to theaters. So when they announced it to go to theaters, and then you get this promotional train that came with it, the cheese grater and all this stuff, it just sent everybody into a hype overdrive. And I think that's why a lot of people were let down, is because it went from being this little movie it's going to be like a made for TV movie, not a made for TV movie, but a made for streaming movie. And then it just went to like, I still think it did good, whether it could be on streaming on HBO Max originally or in the theaters. However, I can understand why some people are let down. It makes sense, but at the same time,
I mean, they did their job. They marketed. They said high rise, cheese grater. They marketed the hell out of that shit,
Mhm.
and we were all talking shit like this is about to be it's going to top 2013. I think it's going to be way more shit going on. I was the scene. First of all, you have dead ice in the hallway. They've been dead mad long. Ain't nothing happened with them. They raising up like a cut scene from like a Resident Evil game, mad late, instead of hopping up, attacking people.
That's what I thought they were going to do, Michael. I thought, because they had a scene in the trailer where they had all the arms coming into the elevator. I'm like, oh, that's a fucking like apartment complex full of deadites. It's one thing when the motherfuckers are banging outside the door of the cabin, but these motherfuckers inside the building, they can come into the crawl space, the air vents, any of this shit. They can be crawling outside the windows and stuff like this. Like, I was wanting that, but then I saw everything was on the floor. I'm like, oh, okay. But I was so invested in the kids and the Beth that I kind of forgot about it. But now that y'all have sat there and pointed all this stuff out, I'm like, damn, ouch.
I mean, I still I still enjoyed it more than Halloween Ends, at the end of the day. So I still enjoyed it more than Halloween Ends. So that's that on that. But final thoughts, folks. Cat, what are your final thoughts for Evil Dead Rises?
Go see it to formulate your own opinion. It gives, I just to put a sprinkle on it, it very much gives me a little bit of Satan Slaves 2 communion vibes, just to throw that out there. It's the apartment location in the elevator doing stuff for me, for those who have not seen it yet. But go see it yourself to formulate your own opinion. That's pretty much all I got, because it's like a lot of these movies that keep coming out. I feel like all of our views are really polarized. We're either really fucking with it or we not, and that's making everything actually really fun and exciting for me. Yeah. So that's the real thing. Go check it out. It's a fun franchise, fun film series, and yeah, I'm excited.
Yes, and I totally agree. Everybody, even though you've heard my opinions and my takes, see the movie for yourself, experience it for yourself, because just because Tyrone didn't like Evil Dead Rise or Halloween Ends or Smile does not mean that you won't like these movies. You may love them, it may be the magnum opus, but I recommend everyone go see it. What are your final thoughts, Jazz, on Evil Dead Rise?
Evil Dead Rise is a good time. I think you should check it out. It's better than the show to me. And I did have some problems with it, but also I am a seasoned horror fan as well. Like, I've seen a lot of movies. So some things that people are like, that's refreshing. I'm like, I've seen that in like 15 movies. Like, bro, like I'm gonna have a different experience, period. So I'm never gonna say not see this movie in particular because it's not offensive. There are scares, there is gore, there is some tension, there is some atmosphere, there's good budget behind this in comparison to the other Evil Dead movies. So production value is up there. Like, this is still a good time, especially if you Deadites and Deadites cutting up, and the acting for the Deadites themselves, like individually, is good. I'm not gonna lie, these Deadites by themselves, they're fun Deadites. I'm not gonna lie about that. I think you should see it, but also if it's as it ranks, Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2 are better to me, and Evil Dead 2013 is better to me, but it's worth watching. Check it out. I think that if you are not seasoned, I also recommend going in blind. All that cheese grater stuff y'all talking about where it lost points, I didn't see none of that shit. So I can't even take no points away because I didn't even know there was a cheese grater involved until I got into the theater and saw it with my eyeballs. And then I turned around because of the sound effects, and I didn't even see that they only took a little bit of meat off versus scraping it to the white meat. They should have scraped it to the white meat. I understand, but I personally didn't see that. There were no spoilers. I had no expectations for this. So I think that's the best way to go in. It's like, don't look at no trailer, no commercial, nothing. Just go watch the movie and see, and be surprised by what they have to offer. I think that's the best way to go about it. But I enjoyed it, and I liked the little intro, although it was Canva. Times are hard. Look at the economy, girl. I enjoyed it. I wasn't mad about the intro into the movie. So
Yes. What about you, Michael? What are your final thoughts on Evil Dead Rises?
Okay, so it was said earlier, like Scream, it's not really a bad Evil Dead movie. It's just kind of up to your preference, which ones you prefer. This one was entertaining. It was fun. I, as a fan, just had a few things that I felt let down by. But again, watch the movie. Definitely make your own opinion on that. Have fun with it. There's babies dying. Well, not babies, little kids in the shit. And yes, Mark, kids are dying in the movie.
Yes.
I
wish she would have ripped that baby out of her, though. That's what
that would have been Evil Dead. That would have been Evil Dead right there. If you're gonna take it up another notch, snatch the baby out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's definitely fun. It's definitely entertaining. Again, like they said, if you go in blind, you're not going to know the difference. It's a different feel. You'll definitely know it's a different director from 2013. It just feels completely different. So it's just their vision of an Evil Dead movie.
Yes. Thank you. And what about you, Destiny? What are your final thoughts on Evil Dead Rise?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it as well. I mean, it's a fun watch. It's a fun horror experience, in the theater. But again, like compared to the original and in 2013, it just does not live up to that at all. And I think that's kind of why I went into the movie with not high expectations. Like for me, like nothing can beat what 2013 did. So I didn't really have high expectations. So I think I was able to like enjoy it a lot more, just for what it was. And but it did leave me feeling extremely underwhelmed, and I wanted so much more out of it. But I do think it's something that I would rewatch. It's not something that I'm like, oh, I'm never gonna watch that again. Like it was fun. Like I genuinely had fun watching this, and probably things that I missed the first time around that I could watch again and be able to notice and critique and just experience it as a film, as a horror film. So yeah, I'm not mad at it.
I like that. And what about you, Mark? What are your last closing thoughts on Evil Dead Rise?
I echo everybody's sentiments. Go in blind. Go in. If you do go see the movie, do it with your own to get your own take on how you feel about it, because all of us have differing opinions on here, though. But I would respect anybody in this panel's opinions than I would somebody else who was just like knee-jerk reaction, who wanted to go into it mad about it, period, because it wasn't in the cabin anymore. So, but if you don't like it, okay, go back and watch 2013, because there's so much you can get out of it that you didn't get with this one, or go watch the Creep Show episode called Public Access of the Dead, which is pretty
Yes.
much
Yes.
you know, if you want some chaos and dismemberment, go watch that instead. 25 minutes of just pure Evil Dead fun. So go watch that. But yeah, I'm praying, and last thought, I pray that it's an uncut version out there somewhere.
Yeah.
Please delete the scenes, please. I need.
Yes. I would definitely be where I would definitely check out an unrated version, an uncut, version of the film. But yes, thank y'all. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. This was fun to get to dive into like one of my favorite franchises and to get into, passionate discussion about our thoughts about just the franchise, the ups, the downs, and the crazy turns that the universe that Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell have created. Thank y'all, Jazz and Kat, for being on Evil Live. First time.
Yes.
Was very, very honored that this was the episode that y'all chose to jump on. First time. Would love to have y'all back. It was a great time. Just I'm a huge fan of y'all's. Love what y'all do over there. Love what y'all do over there. And also Mark, thank you again for always being down to chop it up, and we always have a great time talking horror. Mark was actually one of my first interviews that I ever did as far as the horror community, so made me feel very, very welcome, so I always appreciate that, man. Welcome. Appreciate that. And Destiny, Artsy Google, thank you again, for being on the show. Always love your takes and just the knowledge that you bring, and just the perspective, and of course love your work. Love whenever it pops up on the screen. Like I've said before, if you guys have not checked out Destiny's work, I highly implore that you check it out. The links are in the bottom. She's got some amazing artwork, and it's horror centered. So if you're into horror, she is your girl. She is your girl.
Thank you. Always glad to be here.
Yes. And Michael, of course, Michael Anthony, always a great time.
Mark, you ain't shit.
Always a great time. Thank you for joining me. Always a fun time, especially with when we do the out of pocket discussions, gets a little wild, so thank you for joining, man.
Thank you for calling me on. I enjoy just talking shit about movies, so anytime.
Oh yes. And thank y'all in the comments, Jasmine, Ray, Spooky Melon and Magic. Thank you, Bobby, Germs, Jaleesa, everybody who stopped by tonight. I apologize if I missed you on the list. Ivatrees, everybody who stopped by tonight. Taymon, everybody, Daniel, Terrell, but yes, that's another episode. That's been another episode of Evil Live. Thank you for tuning in. It's always a great time to chop it up with the horror community. And just get to mingle, a little bit more, especially going live with people and seeing people go live who haven't necessarily, gone live with each other before. It's always a fun time, So yeah, I'll be back next weekend, folks, with an episode covering episode 2 of From season 2, episode 2 of From. So definitely gonna be chopping that up. And yes, as always, peace, love, and horror. And follow everybody. Links in the descriptions, people. All right. And good night.